Okay.
Oh yeah, nailed it. Recording 2. This is fine. Good. I don't
Shelf
know.
space full of food
Did we
immediately.
Did we need a countdown? I mean, our countdown is just us talking before we bother to kick
Anyway,
it.
yeah, exactly.
Like,
I don't think it's going to make any difference at all.
What's this? Sub. Just for recording's sake, Crystal has subscribed. Don't worry. It just as per tradition of the Syleria streams.
It's just, yeah.
Vix drops the sub.
This is just normal now.
This is how it works now.
It does. It doth work like that.
This is how it twerks.
Oh, this
I
is
have some
not.
questions.
This is not promising. I rolled a 2.
Oh no.
That's fine. Get it out on your practice rolls.
Yeah. That. I hope
That
no
way,
for it. No.
When you roll better.
Yeah. No
'Cause
for
that's
the
how it
average
works.
shouldn't come back, right? That's not. Because we left that behind for like maybe our session with these new dice.
Session.
Hey,
The new
Susan, I mean,
dice.
you've had some good rolls recently,
Yeah.
you know?
It's been good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The old dice are talking to the new dice like, hey, roller.
yeah. They're like, hey, we've been in the same bag for a bit now.
We rubbed up on you.
I love the idea of that. Oh my gosh.
Just make sure that setting's okay.
I'll make sure your setting's okay.
Oh,
I don't know. That was
Wait,
weird.
what?
That was a non-insult, actually. Hey, Kaiser.
Hmm.
Are you still playing your space game with all of your friends?
Not really.
Planet Side 2.
Yeah, I haven't played it in
Side.
a long time.
Wow, because you're just busy. You're like a homeowner with a
Yeah.
puppy. And
Yeah,
very
I got
busy
quite
job.
burnt out with the game.
I mean, you had already dedicated how many years of your life to it?
I mean, Bunny was a bit like that as well, though.
Hold up.
Well,
Let
I
me
remember.
just check.
Oh yeah, you could say how many hours you've got on Planet Side. Oh no.
4,777 hours.
What's that?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think I've played anything for that long.
It sounds like me with
That's so much more
Probably what-
dedication.
probably the level of hours that I put into like World of Warcraft back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Not Final
People
Fantasy
don't
don't
Nine.
actually want to
unless
think
they're
about
like,
how many hours
Not
it is for
yet.
that.
I would imagine my time in Final Fantasy XIV is maybe starting to get close to WoW, but I dedicated a significant number of years to playing World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not
Damn.
quite there in years, so I don't imagine I'm anywhere near there on numbers because I didn't really approach the raiding scene so much in like occasionally, but didn't really approach the raiding scene in 14. So my numbers would be much lower.
It's rough.
The rating
Yeah.
thing?
Oh, fun
Yeah.
though.
It's
If you-
so fun.
If you can find the right crew, it's a lot. of
Yeah.
fun. Anyway, I think we're about to be raided.
What?
Aha.
There we are.
Oh!
Oh yeah, so
I had it open on both screens. Just looked up and it's like, oh wait, here it comes.
Holy guacamole, it's Cassin Sedane.
It is a gas in sedan.
Hi, Cassin. How was Celesta? Was
Now
it
I'm
running well
lurking-
for you?
Twice in D&D while we play D&D. So
Mhm. No Dasha was returned. What the heck does that mean?
I don't know. Oh, let's get rid of that then. I'll leave it on that
Hello,
screen.
Toxic Tree.
Hey, Toxic Tree. How you doing?
Welcome
my
to
guy?
the Vexploration. These are my friends. We'll be exploring a D&D today. I like how quick you're trying to join in. We can't hear the music.
Oh, there's absolutely no synchronicity here whatsoever. I don't know
Oh,
what you're
Cassim.
expecting.
Yeah, because we start 2 hours later than we used to, which is possibly where the confusion is.
We've started a little later than what we used to do.
Yeah.
Just to mesh up with schedules. So
Toxic Tree, welcome to the family, though. Welcome to Syleria D&D, where we did last time. This is the segue. Someone take it. I'm pretty sure I did it last time.
I tried to do it last time, and then you took over.
Yeah.
So
And
I'm
I
not
finished
doing it.
But there
Yeah.
was.
Which means it's a Freya or a Vixen.
I tried, damn it.
Thanks, Spice. Have a good sleep.
God,
There was
that's my
things that
good
happened last time.
Where is
We-
my diary?
All right. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Between me and Fred, we got this, right?
Yeah, we got
Right?
this.
Okay.
100%.
I
I
just
believe.
read
Okay.
Quinn's description of the fort again.
Oh, I'm going
I-
to do that. I'm going to do that when you start.
Oh,
Hey.
right.
Yeah, yeah. We're gonna start with me getting back into describing the area.
Oh no.
I'm not one of the cool kids. The recaps, I don't know
Right.
if they're for cool kids, they're for note takers.
Bless you.
And we're not
recaps
very
are-
cool.
Recaps are chaos. Let's just say that.
yeah, honestly.
Something to
Alrighty.
recap while I munch.
So the very important thing is that Hetty now has a cincher as a weapon. That is like one of my first notes.
Crab.
That's right.
So she
about
can now summon a familiar.
That
So
was
now
our
she's got this
downtime.
cool little flail cincher that she can like smack people in the head with, which is, well, it smells like burning charcoal, I think. Wow, we'd just done a huge jaunt into the dream, and we were kind of back in Passion Ilios's house, remembering how to eat, and working out, how to while away the day, while we actually enacted a plan to get out of the city because we feel hunted. And it turns out that we weren't actually significantly being hunted,
Not
but
like
we felt hunted.
actively, yeah.
So, Passion Ilias had us cool kids just in his house, and he left us alone. So we went through books and stuff, and lots of fun stuff there. He was not that impressed that we went through his stuff. But really, it's on him, because he left us alone. He did grab some amazing restorative ointment that he has given us, and he gave us the recipe for our up-and-coming potion makers, which, it's only gonna be rare parts that we need to actually heal. Also Hetty summoned a crab as her first familiar. Snip, snip, nip! But actually, everything went quite according to plan. Yes, Casson, potion making. We managed to get out of the city, dressed up as pilgrims of the sun god, with many apologies to the Keeper of Winter on Frey's behalf, because there's some tension there. You might say it's
A little bit.
it's a little bit steamy between the ice and summer keepers.
Steamy.
And
I see
so
what you did there. Also not wrong.
thank you. I'm actually intrigued. Love our DM. But no, we were actually really successful. Despite we had a backup plan, we were actually going to breathe underwater and go the waterways, and it was actually a really cool plan that the DM actually felt bad about actually letting us know that we could just dress up as pilgrims and
Thanks for
toodle
reminding me
boop. And we toodle booped and did so successfully. We did get some horses and a cart, because we have another little gnome with us who wasn't quite full back to full strength, but she wants to start her missions now. So she's come with us, and we've made it to the southern plains in this summer realm, where it's perpetually summer and warm. There were some very interesting characters on the gates. We had to go through this pathway that was all misty and mystified and very easy to get lost in, especially when two members of this party get lost really easily. Not looking at you, Frey. And we found out there was some betting, gambling going on in between. some of the people at the posts. Some people owed some other people money. Some other people had to go off and deal with stuff, so it wasn't actually the guy who owed him money.
NPC stuff, yeah. Just
Oh,
NPC doing NPC things.
do you want to carry on, Faye? Or do you want me to keep babbling?
Up to you.
You know what? I'm going to keep babbling because you're going to do the whole next one. You note that in your notes, okay?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Written in
yeah, that's
stone,
what's
she
gonna
gets the next
happen.
one. I'm gonna make the now we're gonna make this session as complicated as possible.
Oh,
You're going to have to remember every description.
that the free brain. Oh.
Free brain. And oh, the plains are gorgeous. The grasses even shift through different colours, going gold and a hint of orange shimmering through. Tried to talk to Goldilocks as we were walking through them, but he snubbed me, but that's okay. And there was these beautiful large stag-like herds with horns that are crystalline and legs are crystalline hues too, but they're kind of blue instead of orangey. Every time they take a step, there's different colours. It's really cool. And they almost had they did have a shepherd, a Felinor called Gilead. I think I wrote that right. His lower half is a tiger. He's really cool. This is a really cool race of quins that we all really love.
Centaurs
kind
are
of-
great cats.
Yeah. Did warn us not to attack the stags or the things that hunted the stags. The shadowy things in the night.
The cycle of life continues.
And we actually finally made it to the Fort of Falling Embers, in which I will hand over to our amazing DM, Quinn.
Oh shit, me. Okay. Yeah, that pretty much covered it. There were things I didn't include last time with Gilead and the Aeronox, but I think we were running out of time for the session, so. But yeah, you guys have successfully come across the Misty Cleft, the border between the Summer Realms, the Southern Summer Realms, and the area of Cascorn. You sort of, for most of you, your first experience here in the Summer Realms. A place that's maybe just a little bit different to the one you've just come from. And heading through the plains, you've come across night was beginning to fall. So the sun had dipped below the horizon, but that was when you'd actually noticed the Aeronox, which were the stag-like creatures with the crystalline horns, as the light from their horns sort of moved through the grass. But you'd noticed a large orange glow on the horizon, and it wasn't until you got a little closer as night had fallen that there was this large orange crystalline structure that had emerged from the ground, stylized almost like a flame emerging with tongues licking out from various directions, and it was a very soft light, very easy to look at, and you can see that it is a beacon for a long distance around, almost as though this is a place of safety and, evildoers beware. But it's at night, there are fireflies that have emerged, and their little yellow lights flicker on, and as they sort of drift around this massive crystalline structure, they give it the term of falling embers, or sparks. They're coming off this massive orange crystalline flame. The Fort Falling Embers itself has been built around the base of this structure. These stone walls that have been built up and into the crystal. The walls themselves still under construction. You can actually see, even from this distance, that there is bits and pieces of scaffolding and stone blocks still not assembled. But the stone itself has been painted a yellow. So as to give that even more of that illusion of the yellow inside of a flame and the orange on the outside. Various little places in the battlements where it sort of dips down and under and around these tongues of outreaching flame. You can see there's sort of various straps or little devices that have been attached to the crystal itself. Even from this distance, you can see that this is still a place that is under construction. However, despite that, there is a massive amount of people here. Still under construction, yes, but you can see not just the orange light from the crystal. You can actually see lights, torchlight and lamplight from the inside lighting up the underside of this crystal. And you can even from this hear very, very faintly noise drifting on the warm wind. From outside, there is one large gate that seems to, from this distance, have 3 individuals standing at it. Off to the right, there is this large area of wooden structures that have been that have been set up. You can tell they're makeshift. They're transient. They're not here to stay, but they seem to be housing a lot of people that might be here for a variety of reasons. There's a lot of people here for what is supposed to be a fort. And even from there, you can hear lights and the sounds of celebration and drinking and song and ribaldry all going on there. And even from this distance, it kind of strikes you that this is probably the most active a place you've seen since returning from the Bastion Between. Cascorn was occupied. Cascorn had people in it, but it coming to a place that doesn't have that overhanging sense of oppression and tension of something about to happen. This is the most active place you've been in a while. And you haven't even stepped foot inside yet. It's just nice that it's lively. Off to the left-hand side, as you approach, you do see what has been set up as an external paddock, where you can tell there are a variety of set up stables. There are a number of horses inside the paddock, and you do see a fairly small-ish bull-headed figure who, after having stripped saddles and bridles off, seems to be rubbing these horses down and getting them ready to put in the stable for the evening. And the night seems to be, at least around here, fairly well alive as you approach Fort Falling Embers. So, party, now that you've reached this particular destination, what do you want to do?
Can I cast my eye around and see if our little dwarf friend is there?
From here, yes, you can do that. You are still a wee distance away. So the only figures you can really make out are a bull-headed individual in the livestock pen and 3 figures standing at the main gate. There might be a few figures moving around what is the makeshift living area out to the right, where you can actually see there is like a set-up tavern there as well. But given the time of night and how far away you are, I will say it is unlikely you will see anything other than, oh, hey, look, that person's maybe a little bit shorter than others. Making out anything specific outside of, very obvious features is not really possible from this distance.
So we are dropping the facade here, yes? We are actually looking for our dwarven friend, or are we trying to stay as pilgrims for a while?
I believe we dropped the facade here. We have gotten out of the city. That was the main point.
That would be lovely.
You have not enjoyed it, no, Frey?
I fear the wrath of not only my keeper, but the keeper that I am wearing the tabard of.
I'm sure they would understand under these current circumstances.
Yes,
Let's hope so.
probably only for as
1
long a
second.
time as necessary. So Maybe take it off now.
Mhm.
Should we de-garb here before we get closer to the fort?
It would probably be a smart idea. Wouldn't it be nice to see pilgrims that are pretending to be pilgrims just take off their tabard?
Yeah, I like
And
that
then-
plan. Yeah,
Gods?
it's
That would be hard to explain.
something to consider for sure. I pull the cart over to the side. And let everyone get off. So
Are you able to stop it?
de-garb. I can
got
stop
this?
it. I'm a well, not Fred isn't,
De-garb, you
but
say?
I'm a horse girl.
Are you?
I will fly to Australia, Robert.
Come at me.
I attempt to take the cart to the side of the road. How about that?
Okay.
Come at me. How about
Um,
that?
So you're doing this before you're actually getting too close to
Yeah.
the fort? Okay. Just make an animal handling check. First roll of the day. Why not?
Oh, God.
Yay.
It's going to be... I'm going to say it's going to be a pretty low DC because you have been managing all right most of the day after your initial hiccups.
Ah!
Head team.
19.
Second may still
19?
be sore.
Yeah.
There is a slight, just a tiny slight bit of resistance from the horse, mainly because, oh, hey, look, here's a place to stop and
Yeah.
stable and food, and you want me to stop here? You're kidding me, right? Yeah, all right. So the horse sort of clops over to the side, and it is this sort of thing where I don't know if you're pulling off the road, but in this particular area of the Southern Summer Realms, whilst this road is sort of hard packed dirt, pulling off the side of the road, it is very long grass on either side. Like it's not short at all. This grass, like it was tall enough that you couldn't actually see the aeronauts when they were moving through it. You could only make out the light from their horns.
Yeah.
So if you pull off, you will actually be completely obscured from the fort itself.
Lovely. We love that.
Okay.
And from each
see.
other, so we can all get changed, you know?
Yep. So you do get even though you can remain the same distance apart, you can at least get a little bit of privacy if you so choose. But that'll be easy enough if you guys are disposing of the pilgrim garb.
Oh, we're gonna like bundle it up and put it in one of my waterproof packs.
Yes. Gotcha. Okay.
Definitely keeping it.
I think we should
Yeah.
keep these. This will be, you know, down the road. This could come in handy again. So like,
Potentially, we need to return them.
Yeah.
oh, that yeah, but
Says
but
the rogue.
also,
Yes, it's the rogue.
I love that.
It's not a dagger, so
Exactly.
Yeah.
You can go home.
He cares not. Yep.
The other question is, we are assuming that the fort is safe and is mostly under Kirith Nan rule, right?
Yes.
So I suppose we just can go to the gate and show the pin, right?
That was what I assume we were doing.
Okay, you can lead the way with that then.
But you're a better talker.
I don't know about that. You're
It is a
pretty-
merchant guild, no? That is your area of expertise.
This is what we left the tribes for. Step up, woman.
Jeez, okay. I'm just trying to allow other people to take moments of leadership. It's fine. Okay, I can do it.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, how long was my hair going to be a different color? It's like a Freddy question because she fed me a biscuit to change.
oh,
That's
me
I was about to
and-
say. Hang on. Wait. I don't
don't
remember
remember
that.
that.
Yeah. That's right.
Question
I
to
think
the
it's-
DM.
I think it's 24 hours.
Yeah, it's 24
Yeah.
hours.
I think it's a 24-hour effect.
It's not
If I
permanent.
remember that. Yeah.
So I think it's still active now, but as soon as I go to sleep, it's going to turn off.
Yeah. Although most of
Funny.
your hair is hidden underneath, you know. So unless
Yeah.
you're wearing it out.
Oh, well, it's like, there's like this much sticking out from under the head wrap.
Right. Okay.
That's funny.
Excuse me.
I love that. Okay. That's cool.
All right. So, any other preparations you would all like to make before approaching Fort Falling Embers?
Do we just like, because we've walked into a few situations where it's been like one way and then it sort of ended up another way. Should we have like a safe word? Like a "we need to leave now" word that we can just like insert into a conversation and be like,
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah.
Like,
Run?
I like it. It's a good word, but it's a little obvious. Because we could try and be subtle about it,
The sun
okay.
needs to go down.
The sun needs to go down. I don't know how we would subtly put that into a conversation, but
is there anything that would be in a normal conversation that we can discern?
how about just sunset?
I was thinking sunset as well.
Sunset. I like sunset.
That is what they meant, obviously.
Yes, but you said long way, so we'll shorten. We'll just... Okay, so if one of us feels like maybe our friend Douglas has infiltrated here, maybe it's not, what we think the situation is, sunset, we outies.
But are we gonna have it as just normal casual talk of, oh, look at the sunset? Or are we gonna have it as, oh, look at the sunset? Would it be like...
With a big wink in it,
If ever you say sunset, I'm just running out the door.
No. Ah.
Remember that, Frey, in case you actually need to talk about it.
I think it'll be...
Not the long version, if
think-
we actually have to talk about it.
Okay, we can do the
Huh?
long version, yeah.
Yeah, the sun going down is such a beautiful sight.
Mm-hmm. I'm so sorry, my nose is
Look
just
at that
like really
beautiful
these
sentence.
glasses. Ugh,
Terrible place for people with allergies. The summer
ugh,
realms.
it's
isn't it?
really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's all that cleaning. Today. Okay, well,
This is good, establishing a safe word. That,
yeah. I think this is
Okay.
like,
Look
know.
at us growing.
we have like a group name and we have a safe word. So,
Should we have a kill word?
No.
Oh, I like
ooh,
that.
I like that.
How about this person needs to die?
Ah,
No, but again,
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
obvious,
Man, I could go for some cake.
I like cake. That is
cake
a
is
very...
not going to be the kill
But
word.
that's not a
But it
really
would
good
be
idea
kind of
because
like-
I ask people all the time if they want cake.
Yes.
That's true. No, that you do say that a lot. You would be
and then-
killing a lot of
and then
people.
I kill them, and then I have to eat their cake. It becomes a whole thing.
How about sparkles?
Hey, we're not getting into the fort today. Sparkles. Sparkles could be.
about
Lube.
that? Oh
using the word
no!
I mean, hey, lube is a good safe word.
A kill word. A kill word.
Kill word.
Shatter.
Pineapple.
Shatter.
That seems to be Hetty's contribution.
What was the word?
Shatter.
Shatter. I don't mind that.
Yeah. It is quite an aggressive word.
Kind of reminds me of shiggy. It's a sh sound, Because we all hated him.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got shatter and sunset. Sunset to get out. Shatter. We shat on her or it or whatever it is.
Okay.
Okay, alright.
Is there
It
any
makes
other
things go
secret
boom.
words we need to
Any other
establish?
secret
I
word?
don't believe this person.
Oh, a liar.
Oh, ooh.
It probably should be one.
Okay. We could.
But then
come
we
up with that.
believe
We're
if
not
we have
getting
the
to the fort.
antithesis, then this person is telling the truth.
Oh, so we
Hand
have to have
signs
like a
instead.
we think,
have to
and
have
then
two.
and then someone has a no, I think. Okay.
Okay.
What if we do like salt and pepper?
So salt would be, I think they are lying.
Yeah.
Pepper is, I think they are telling the truth.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe. Or we can come up with something better than that. We are very food focused in some of our words we're trying to pick. But something that, you know, would come as
Or
a combo.
twilight or dawn, so that, you know, we could work it into conversations and make it sound like it's our planning thing.
Could have dawn and dusk.
I'm worried that people will think we're romantics with the amount we talk about sunsets and twilight and
good.
dawn.
There is nothing wrong with being a little romantic.
Except you're in the summer realms where everything has that kind of motif anyway.
Yeah,
so, you know.
Look at this place. Do you not think they speak like this? It is warm all the time. What else are they going to do?
Oh,
Warm
okay.
all the time.
Is this Sekit or Hetty speaking? Because you're
Was it
very
Sekit?
adamant. Okay.
Hetty is watching and very amused, but you know.
I'm sure Hetty has quite a few suggestions.
So twilight meaning we're suspicious, dawn meaning we trust. Is that what we're saying?
I think I'm going to need to write all of these down.
Yeah, well, that's a great plan. Let's do that really quickly. Okay.
What
so-
did we say? Did we say I don't trust this person is dusk? Because it's falling
it
to
was salt.
nighttime?
Is
Oh,
it,
that
wait,
works
are we
out
doing it
fine,
food oriented or are we going with like time?
I don't know.
Okay. So we just choose 2 new words and we forget all of those ones.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So,
It's Frey's turn again.
okay.
Run word.
Yeah.
This sunset.
Mm-hmm.
Kill word. How many times are we thinking this is going to come up? Because, I mean, we'll know when it comes up, but
If I mean, personally,
Yes,
for a-
toxic. I'm exactly expecting that.
you'll be like, hold on, let me check my notes.
Yeah.
Could be colors. as well.
Ooh, I like colors. That would be good. I like the idea of colors. So, like, what's a distrustful color?
Red.
Agreed.
Because it's a red
Wait,
flag.
what was the kill word again?
Shatter.
Shatter.
So
Like-
distrust, we drop the word red.
Mhm.
And then we
I
trust.
I still like Twilight and Dawn, to be honest.
Well, we can go back. I mean, the Twilight and Dawn have the implication of color within them, so.
I like that too. So dawn for we trust them and twilight for we do not.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
That is affirmation.
At this point, Taratha pipes up and goes, I don't like the connotations about, the light here with my keeper being not trusted, but that's fine. You guys do you.
Why would we not trust your keeper?
It's we're
It's
just
the
it's
people
just
on
the
the
word.
ground. Oh no, we have
Frey's
not
just
to
like-
play.
He's just like in the corner, just being like, I'm very sorry that your keeper is getting the. We don't mean any harm, but she's like poking at like the wall of the wagon, like we don't mean it in that way. I'm very sorry.
At dawn we plan. No, at dawn we get to the fort. Yeah, it's next dawn we plan.
Yeah, we're just gonna
yeah.
spend the night on the road making words up that mean other things. Code, get in the car.
I can't wait till we get it wrong too.
Oh my god.
Someone just
This is why
casually
we are
says
writing
shatter.
it down.
Like, all the glass shattered, and we're like, ah! Ah.
Or someone
Okay.
else says our safe word and we forget that only we know it.
We're like, are you part of the team? Like, when
do
did
you
that
know?
happen? Okay, I think that's enough. Let's not overcomplicate it. We'll keep it to those four
So-
instances, right?
We have run, we have kill, we have trust, we have distrust.
Yeah. This would be so much easier if me and Seket just taught you hand signals, but you know, we
I
can
was
just carry on.
thinking that, but
But
we
then,
can work on that over time.
yeah,
You
that-
know what?
yeah.
You could have suggested that at the beginning of this conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
Did you want to learn?
Well, what is the hand sign for kill?
go on, Seket. What's the hand sign for kill?
Hold that! Hold that!
I'm gonna go cook an overly complicated lasagna. You guys let me know when you're ready.
The DM's like, I'm ready to do some describing, and you're just taking your sweet fucking time.
Love it. It means I don't have to do shit. You guys are playing the game, and I'm just cool.
But slowly, there's something sneaking up on us. Nah.
We're in
Maybe?
full grass.
That's
so,
fine. We have a word for when it gets there.
Oh,
We
yeah,
can
that's
jump into
true.
action.
Is it
Shut
Arx stabbed me?
Oh, I'm on the ground, bleeding out.
Yeah, quick! Everybody else, run!
Everybody else, sunset!
Okay, everyone back in the cart. And that's the
Let's
hand
go.
signal for back in the cart.
Back in the car.
Okay.
Should we get a word for that too?
No. I think that there's basically just sunset. You know, we're moving now. Sunset,
Okay.
moving.
All right. So, yeah, you guys moving on.
Yep.
Okay. So you've got a few different places, obviously, you can go. You could bypass the fort altogether if you decide you don't want to stop here.
Oh yeah, let's go.
Because I mean, the trade route does go straight past it. But you've got the small paddock with the horses that are being put away. They're actually probably away by this point. The 3 guards at the main gate, and you've got the little sort of settlement that sprung up nearby.
Here is a question. Suruwatha, you're wanting to continue forth after this, yeah?
Oh yes, but I could very much do with a bed tonight.
Okay. But you do not want us to give up the cart yet.
You guys can do what you want to do.
Just go. We'll put the horse in the cart and we'll go talk the bull man. Then, in the morning, we will figure it out.
And thought we planned.
Wait, what?
The
Trust.
end of the paddock then?
We will work it out. Just
Okay.
literally what you said.
yeah. Brilliant.
All right, so you're heading to the paddock then.
Yeah, we're going to the. I'm assuming it's a public paddock. Quentin just scared the shit out of me coming in the room.
I mean, there's one way to find out whether it's a public one or not.
We should probably introduce ourselves to the guards
Yeah, that'll be.
and then get
As I say,
directions from them.
It depends on where you're going to go first.
Where is our driver taking us?
Intense conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, have a good night, Casson. Sleep well, mate.
This
The biggest
is enough
tanks. The biggest tanks filter just one of the parts snapped inside of it, so that's cool.
Ah,
It's cool, it's
Wow.
cool, it's cool.
Yeah,
Yikes.
it's all good. It's fine.
fucker.
Boy for
So the paddock, we go to.
Okay. So you pull up to the paddock, where you see this. What is now that you are closer in the light of the large crystal, you can actually see what appears to be a young minotaur.
Oh no.
Who's walking out from the stable, wiping his
Full-headed.
hands after having put the horses away. Yeah, that's literally what I meant by bull-headed. I wasn't saying it as a personality trait. He was literally having the head of a bull.
I imagined a cow man, but
How from a distance would you have known that this individual was bull-headed?
Look, there are ways of walking.
Okay, yeah.
oh,
But you
good
see
night, Kessin, as well.
You see this young Minotaur lad who's coming out. He's wiping his hands with a cloth. The horses have all been put away. And he looks like he's about to finish up when he sort of wanders on out and sort of sees you pull up on your cart. And, are you wanting to put these in the stable tonight?
Yes, if that is a thing we are allowed to do, we would love to put these horses in your safety or the safety of this compound, at least.
Are you staying at the fort tonight or out at the little settlement? Or are you...
We would hope
You
to
don't
stay at
just-
the fort if they have the accommodation available, but we are not sure at this time.
Well, you have to speak to like, I don't know, a commander or something about that. I don't know about that. But if you want to stable them here, you can. But given you don't look like you're soldiers or employed here, there will be a cost for that.
That is okay. We can cope with the cost.
But is it just the two horses and the cart, or two horses?
If you
or-
wouldn't
or-
mind keeping cart here, that would be fantastic.
I can try and find some room for it. Is there anything on it you want to leave there? Because I don't advise that.
Oh, no, we can take everything with us.
Is this
Alright.
place unsafe?
No, but it's outside the fort walls, and there's a road right there. So somebody just passing in the night might go, "Oh, look, free cart!"
Free.
So I usually advise against people leaving stuff out in the open.
Probably pretty wise.
Probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you like take the cart around the side of the stables, I'll go make sure there's some open stalls for you.
Thank you so much.
It'll be like a couple silver for each horse for the night. All right.
What is
But-
your
but-
name, good sir?
Me, I'm Davis.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Hello, Davis.
Hello. But yeah, you pull around the corner. I'll go make sure stables are okay. I'll be back out maybe a minute, maybe a little bit more if I need to muck them out, but it should be fine. All right, I'll see you in a bit. And he just sort of puts the cloth back in his rope belt and back inside the stables.
Let us
That's
make
fine,
sure
fine.
we do not leave the garbs then.
Did we not just give them to you to look after?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. I was hoping not to carry them, to be honest. But that's okay. I can carry them. Cool.
Well, you do pull around the side of the stable, and sure enough, there are a couple of carts there already. Some of them do have, canvases draped over them. You can't tell whether there's anything in them or not. But they do appear to be up against, in between. Like, you've got the wall of the fort, and then you've got the wall of the stables, and it's right up in that corner. So it's almost like a parking spot, but there's a couple of them there.
Anyone double parked? You just go key
no,
them?
no, not that you can see at this point. You're also not that good a driver to understand.
So I'm double parking. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, so you're
Yeah,
probably
cool.
the one double parking. Yeah.
Cool.
But you do have to unhitch the cart and back it up because the horses aren't going to do that for you. So, but
Oh.
sure enough, we'll get that done. We don't need to go into details for that.
I supervise and let the strong people do it.
Okay.
So that's that. Yeah, okay, that's Frey and Sekedi.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm so good with the horses. I'm going to
So good.
unhitch them.
Absolutely.
So good.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'm
run
going to
free!
supervise.
But are you removing everything from the cart?
We didn't have much in there. It's kind of just
The-
us.
There was just you, but there was also the small sack that Taka left in there for you.
Oh,
as well.
Ah.
take
Leave
the
that
sack.
alone.
Have we looked at it?
No, not at all.
Did
Which
we
is why,
not?
which is why I feel like maybe I should remind you of the fact that he put it in the back of the cart and you guys just left it alone.
Yeah, true. Yeah, but I was driving, so it's not my bag to look in right now.
That's
So.
fine. Just somebody can take, Tarka's big
I'll take
bulgy
it.
sack and
Oh.
somebody can
Bulgy sack.
Oh,
can make a note of that.
Tucker's
yeah.
big.
Tarka's bulgy sack. Um,
I'm mature.
yes, you park the cart. I mean, I said it. Let's be honest. I did
Yep.
it particularly to elicit a reaction because that's the thing. You park the cart up and guide the horses around to the entrance to the paddock, where sure enough, Davis and the Minotaur, it does appear to have found a couple of open stalls. So before taking the reins and the horses, somebody will need to pay him 4 silver if it's just for the one night.
Oh.
yes. That will
He's
be
not
good.
charging you for the cart
you?
because that's not part of his. That's not part of what he was told to do. So
He's
you're
not.
paying 4 silver.
Yep.
Okay. Yep. So he will take them, and if you guys stick around, you stick around. If not, he just immediately begins to unsettle and
You
do
be
the-
good for him, Wayfinder, okay?
Oh, its name's Wayfinder. Okay. What's the other one's name?
Wayfounder.
That's not particularly confusing at all.
This is not supposed to be.
And he immediately calls it the wrong name.
Excellent.
But he begins brushing them down, removing the bits, and you guys are free to do whatever you like.
Let's go.
Where are you going?
The main entrance of the fort. Yeah, we're just gonna
Do
go
you
up to the main
actually into
gate.
the fort?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did
So
someone
as you
take the big sack? Tucker's big sack?
That was me. I've got his
Okay.
bulging sack on me.
Thanks, great. That's good.
Yeah, Sika
We
is
can all
currently
touch
handling...
the bulging sack at some point.
Yeah,
That'd
she's
be great.
currently handling Tarka's bulging sack.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so you approach the main gate, and it is quite a large gate in this stone wall. You do see that just on top of it, where the battlements are, one of the tongues of flame, or crystalline tongues of flame, sort of comes up and over, and you do see what looks like almost like leather straps draped over it, and then wrapped around, and they all come down and connect into you can't quite make out what it is, but there's some sort of almost mechanical device directly above the battlement that is either being held in place or is somehow connected to the crystal above. Standing in front of the gate itself, you have 3 individuals. There is, two of them are in almost a very pristine white and blue uniform that is heavy armor. These guys they're not just soldiers. These guys are dressed like they are knights. They don't have the helmets, but they have on the big heavy armor. The armor itself does have almost like more like a silvery sort of a color, but it's got splashes of white paint down it, and the tabards that they have over top are white with a blue trim. There does appear to be on the front an image of a unicorn's head.
Voice.
So they've got 2 of those. The one on the left appears to have a very almost lizard-like face. It is in fact a lizard folk. And on the right is a female that seems to have what looks like initially some very thick, almost like serpentine kind of collar wrapped around her neck. And she also seems to have almost sort of chitinous eyebrows, and they come down the side of her eyes as the 2 of them look at you. There is a 3rd person who seems to be more on the inside area of the gate, who is dressed in sort of a little bit more nondescript greens and brown leathers. They look a little bit less like a soldier and more like a scout or a ranger of some kind. They don't have any particular markings on them, and because they're standing in the shadow of the gate, you can't really make out who or what they are. Just you get the glimpses of the color of the clothes as sort of the bright light of the moon's X and sort of comes down and catches sort of their lower half. But as you approach, the lizard folk sort of takes a few strides forward, looks at you with, you don't have your horses and cart, immediately sort of puts up one hand. It's like, stop. Who approaches Fort of Falling Embers after sunset has fallen?
We are from Cascorn, and we are here to see some friends. And then I show my pen.
Okay. Who are your friends? And did you walk all this way?
No, we have left our cart and horses at the pasture.
So not merchants then? No goods on you?
No, we are helping our friend get home. We've heard that the roads are not as safe as they were, and I kind of gestured to Surawatha like, oh, we're gonna get this
They're not.
priestly person home.
So you're travelers then seeking sanctuary for the evening?
Indeed.
Right. I don't know what that thing is, the pointing at the pin that you saw.
It's okay, it's just a sign of our traveling troop.
Right. Well, it's a little packed in there at the moment. Step lightly, don't upset people. I would say you want to go see the commander. They are the ones that assign rooms for people, but right now the commander is busy, so you probably want to speak to her second. And her second, well, at this time of the night, he's probably in the tavern. Look for a man named Altan. He'll probably get you sorted with some places for the evening.
Well, thank you so much. You've been nothing but gracious and helpful to us.
One word of caution. Do not draw your weapons on the inside unless you are directly attacked by someone. We live under a small state of alert currently, and if you do happen to draw weapons first, you will be treated as hostile. Understood?
Understood, but is there a small state of alert?
Very
What are
good.
we alert about?
Very good. Welcome to Fort Falling Embers.
Thank you.
Okay. Yep, we just...
Yep.
Walk on in.
And as you walk past, you do see that the other lady with the large serpentine collar, it's actually a long tail that's been that she has draped around her neck. It's a scorpion-like tail. And it sort of emerges from the back part of her armor, comes up, and she's actually got it wrapped around her neck to just sort of keep it out of the way. It seems a lot more pliable and flexible than most. But as you sort of move past or in between the lizard folk and the scorpion lady, the third individual that you've seen has already taken off into the fort.
Okay.
As you walk through the gates and you emerge into, well, what would ordinarily be a courtyard, you are immediately struck by the fact that this place is maybe a little bit larger than what most forts might be. In fact, this is approaching the size of a keep, which would maybe explain why there are so many people. And on the inside, you can already tell that these walls are very much still in a state of construction. You can see the piled stone blocks and like the scaffolded planks and poles that are used on the inside to be able to build up said walls. You can sort of see that some of the stairs up into the battlements are partially incomplete. And there are multiple buildings, most of which are completed, but some are still in the process of being built. Many of them into or against the wall. And you do sort of see that there are a couple of them that as the large crystalline structure comes down to the ground, there's a couple of them that have sort of been built up and around it, around the base of it, but not going higher than the walls of the fort. So it's almost like this tiered sort of set of buildings around the base of it. There do appear to be in a couple on either side of this little courtyard sets of stairs descending down into the ground as well. So it appears as though there's an underground area here too. But you do note that there are a couple of places. Of note. One of the areas that has been built up into the structure that has a set of stairs moving up to it immediately has the stylized half sun of the Summer Realms painted on it, which would indicate to you that that is probably where the commander and the command structure have their particular place of habitation. Off to the left is a large series of longhouses that, given how a little bit more on the quiet side they are and not lit up, these would appear to be sleeping quarters of some sort. Along either side, stretching left and right, moving around the side of the building, are smaller buildings, which seem to be more designed for just general business or other wee offices for whatever, just general sort of buildings for day-to-day bits. And off to the right, there is one particularly larger building at the moment, which is where all the noise is coming from. And this would appear to be a tavern on the inside of the fort. It doesn't have any sort of signage or name on it as of yet. You're sure it's probably going to have one sometime in the future. But there are lights shining from out of the windows. You can hear all sorts of noise coming from in that you're sure approximates music, but a lot of it is overridden just by the pure hubbub of people talking and shouting. There is revelry and ribaldry going on. Welcome to the inside of Fort Falling Embers.
Can I scan around after the small state of alert?
Yep.
As we're just walking in, are there more of these knights around? Do they seem a little twitchy on edge?
Make a perception check.
What are these? Oh my gosh! I love my dice! Oh, natural 20.
Hey, hell yeah!
Wow! This
Okay.
is a whole new chapter.
Yeah. All right. So with a natural 20, holy shit. You do know that there are several more of these knights. Many of them seem to be up on the battlements. Several of them are standing near what you now see, especially the natural 20. Many more of these devices that have been looped or tied to the out flickering tongues of crystalline flame. There are a variety of them placed around the upper battlements, and almost every single one of them has a knight standing nearby. And down the bottom of this sort of tiered command structure, there is another two of them standing there. The two standing there, however, do have full helmets on, and they are standing at attention, whereas other ones seem to be a little bit more sort of relaxed, just in general by seeing them. You, with the natural 20, you also notice that the green and brown clad figure, the door to the tavern is closing, and you catch a glimpse of that same color as it seems like that person has now moved into the tavern. There are a few others that are also dressed in the green and brown leather, because damn, a natural 20. But most of them seem to be not out in the open, standing like the knights are. Several of them seem to be moving across the yard. A couple of them are standing nearby doors to various buildings. It's almost like they're a little bit like the guards, but they're a bit more on the circumspect side of things. Just sort of there, being aware, again, more like almost like a scout or a messenger or a ranger style individual. But yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Oh, Froghemoth decided to self-destruct. Ouch.
I know, yeah, I was reading that too.
Oh, ow. Right.
But Zenros lives.
Zenros lives!
Yeah. Okay.
I know, no toxic tree. I deliberately had to have the guard say sunset. I had to. The The moment they said it, I was already planning on ways to incorporate their words naturally into conversations.
Interesting. Small state of alert. I think we all should stay alert, yeah? And no playing with knives.
What?
Just, they said no pulling out weapons, so no knife play for a little bit, okay?
Okay.
And even keep those claws tucked.
That is a little
Okay.
bit racist, no friend. I must say.
Right. I'm commenting that other people might assume that his claws are weapons, and that he just needs to be a little aware of it.
I am a weapon.
This is true.
Exactly. All of him. Look at him. Like it just beams at him. All right. Shall we find this second to the commander?
I have a feeling that the person in the tavern is already being told that we're here.
Do you
That
think
would
he
save
cares?
us some jobs.
I don't know yet if he cares, but we're gonna go find out.
Yeah.
So you're obviously walking somewhere. Where are you walking?
To the tavern, to the
the
not
tavern.
unnamed tavern.
To the unnamed tavern. Okay, cool.
Our new goal: name the tavern.
In the tavern. It'll have a name at some point. It's not particularly high on their list of things to do right now.
We're gonna make it a priority.
All right. So you approach the tavern door, and the noise does get significantly louder. This particular tavern seems to almost have been built. It's up against the wall and part of the crystalline structure. But as you've approached, you do sort of see something that kind of maybe might have missed your attention when you first walked in. Several of these buildings have actually been built into the crystal as well.
Oh.
Almost like the crystal itself has had small little sections of it either carved away or chipped out or naturally, had these grooves in it. And it seems as though what the outside part that you're seeing is only about half the size of what this actual tavern is, which means it's relatively large. And as you push through, you are hit by a wall of sound and light. There are no fires running here tonight. Most places in the Summer Realms don't tend to require them due to the sort of preternatural warmth that just seems to constantly exist here. But there are tables everywhere, and every single table is full. There are a variety of individuals, and you do note that primarily amongst those are the same green and brown colored uniforms. Because they are, now that you see them gathered together in one place, they are quite clearly a uniform. There's about 2 of the knights who seem to be, they've actually dressed down, so they've removed most of the heavy elements of their armor. And so they've got like the surcoat underneath. They've got the surcoat removed, and you've just got kind of the trappings underneath. There are a lot more people in sort of mundane clothes. Some of them are a bit on the dirtier side, so you imagine they're possibly some of the construction workers. And there's some people in some slightly better looking clothes, which you would imagine are merchants, but there aren't too many of those for a place that sits astride a trade route. The other thing you do note is that many of these people, and not just the soldiers and knights, but many of these people have somewhere, in some way, some kind of wound or injury. Most of them have bandages or dressings, whether it's on their arm, across their chest, their neck. Some of them got them wrapped around their heads. But most of the people in this tavern seem to be happy. They seem to be jovial. They're having a good time and laughing and singing and getting into it. Many of them are well into their cups. So it would seem like it's most like any other tavern. It just seems like it's almost like a post-battlefield sort of a tavern.
Including the richly dressed people?
Yes, some of them, not all of them, but there are a couple of them that also bear injuries. So there are so many tables here. I'm not going to describe everything. But there is behind one of there is a bar there. It's a relatively small-ish one for the size of the tavern. But you also kind of get the impression that if this is going to be mostly kind of a military fort, there's going to be a general level of discipline and order. So, yeah, no, they might be a little bit more regimented in the way they go up and get their drinks and, you know, take their time and have their orders and whatnot. But you do see a very large orcish fellow standing behind the bar who's currently... You could just catching the tail end of him doing one of those sorts of bar tricks before he sort of slams it down, pours a drink, hands it off to somebody, and then he's immediately, as he's handing one off, he's already pouring another drink into a different mug. He's going at a fairly breakneck pace, but you can tell he's also being very careful about what he's doing. Many of the tables, as I say, they've got these green and brown uniformed individuals. There are probably about 3 or 4 other tables of note. One has several of these green and brown individuals, 3 of them, who are not celebrating. They all seem to be somewhat slumped down. They're all bearing injuries. Heads are down. You can't really tell, but just their very posture and stance seems to be like they are grumbling, they are unhappy, something has them down. They're nursing their mugs instead of slamming them back and bobbing to the music. There is another table that has probably a slightly louder group that are all in the green and brown. There's one of the half-dressed knights sitting with them. The main thing here is there is a very tall human male who has his boots up on the table and who's laughing very loudly. And the knight beside them almost kind of has a glower on their face. And the other table of note would be one that is across and towards the far end. So it's a little bit hard to note initially, but as you would maybe approach the bar or one of the tables, you would immediately see a table. There is one of the tables there that has a group of individuals. One you know relatively well. 4 you're familiar-ish with, and 1 complete unknown. You do see Vian sitting at a table with the 4 individuals that came in during the alley fight when the things were on fire and they went to go engage the other hostiles, and 1 other individual who is completely new to you. You have no idea who they are. But there you go. That's general sort of an idea of what's in the unnamed tavern. The Unreal Tournament Tavern.
And nothing really looks like the second in command? Or is that?
Not initially, no. It's... Everybody here is either grim and dour, like that one table of people with their heads down, or everybody seems to be celebrating and having a good time.
Okay.
Yeah. There's just those 3 tables stand out because there seems to be something a little different about each of them compared to the surroundings, which is just general revelry. If you need to ascertain any more, that's up to you to decide how you want to do it. Hello, Shapoopies.
Poopies!
Shacuties.
Okay. So we've all collectively spotted Vian.
We're just gonna say yeah. Like, at some point, yeah, you would notice Vian. She's got her hood down, and she has a fairly distinctive hairstyle with the way her hair is netted down the side of her shaven, the shaven sides of her head. It's fairly obvious who it is, even though she seems to have her back to you.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plus, the eclectic group of individuals that she are with kind of stand out when you've got a tiny Pugoi with a massive axe, a rainbow-coloured Drakan, and a small girl who just seems to be disappearing into her white robe. You know, they kind of stand out as a group. By the goblin, but yeah.
Sudowatha is with us.
Yeah. Who also, by the way, because you guys degarbed, she also has.
Okay.
Yeah. So just as a note, because I remember you said before that something about it. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
We're all in hiding again. Different hiding. I don't know. Well, do we sit Sudowatha down with our friend, or should we go find a place to stay before we go talk to Vian?
Why don't we talk to the barkeep? He seems to have a stable eye on everything going on. Buy a drink for the second in command, deliver said drink, get rooms, then go to our friend.
What if Vian has rooms for us?
She didn't know that we would be coming.
She might even know the second in command.
She probably does know the second.
Mm-hmm. Seeing that she's drinking here.
Or we could go straight to Vian, whichever you would like.
was a good
They might make
Okay.
a plan.
Let's it was a good plan. I liked it. But yeah.
we will still probably go and buy drinks. Like, we will do your plan. Don't worry. We're just changing the order a little bit.
Yeah, if you
I
want to
wasn't
buy
worried.
drinks, if you want to buy a drink, we could get a drink and then sit down with Vian.
Do you want a drink, Seket?
I would love a drink.
Come,
Okay.
we will go buy a drink. You two go say hi to Vian. Do you two want a drink while we're grabbing? What do you drink, Fry?
Oh
my god!
I would
That
love
felt
one.
good.
Something hard, something strong, something
I am
sweet?
a horse girl.
Something sweet.
Hi, Jen. Thank you.
Something
Thank you
sweet.
for
That
the
can knock
pizza.
me off my feet.
You're so nice.
Sweet, but strong enough to knock you off your feet.
Hmm.
Okay, okay. No Fred?
Water.
Ah, vodka. Okay.
What? Okay. I try take Sudowatha's arm. Like, we're gonna go find you a seat now. Come on,
Okay.
sit down for the, long
She's a
travel.
She's a little overwhelmed purely by the number of people here and the amount of noise. But other than that, she's almost more like fascinated. Like, I miss this too. Yeah, like she's still coming back to herself
Yeah,
after
from
being
the
out of it
dream.
so long. And she's halfway between the state of being overwhelmed in shock, like, oh my god, there are so many people and so much noise, and elation, like, oh, there are so many people.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Aw.
wherever you want to try and guide her, that's up to you. But yeah, what's happening? Who's doing what?
Vander and I are getting drinks.
Me and
Right, so
Frey
you-
gonna talk to Vian.
All right, so we'll do the barkeep thing first because that was the first one mentioned here. Okay, so Sekhet and Vander, you approach the orc behind the bar, and immediately upon approaching, he doesn't have a particularly loud voice, but even with the amount of noise in this place, you know that he is somebody that is used to speaking and being heard, as he has a voice that just seems to cut through the noise. Yeah, and it's just me like, welcome. What is it you're after?
Hello.
Drinks!
Drinks. Well, I'll have to say you've come to the right place for that. What sort of drinks are you after?
What would you like, Seket?
I would like whatever you have on tap. Most popular.
He sort of he sort of takes his eye away from the drinks that he was pouring and looks up. He's like, "You're new here, aren't you? First time in?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got one type of thing right here at the moment, and that's ale. That's all you got.
Give
Okay.
us some ale.
Unless you're after some water, we can do water.
No, no one wants water.
Maybe a little bit of mead.
Oh.
We'll see what I've got, but that's
no.
expensive.
We should get some water for Arthur. Make sure she keeps hydrated.
How many of what?
4 and 4.
4 waters, 4 meads, 4 ales.
Yes.
Right, 12 drinks it is. And immediately just starts bringing all of these cups up, fills 4 with ale, 4 with mead, 4 with water. And he sort of looks and goes, right, mead stocks are a little bit low. That is going to be a silver for each mead.
Okay.
I'll pay the good man.
Okay.
I like how there was a second where Robert's like, do I question that? Nah.
Yeah, he does not appear to be charging you for the ale. He's
Cool.
only seems to be charging you for the mead at this stage. So maybe there's a reason. Who knows? But you now have, between the two of you, 12 mugs of drinks to somehow handle.
What do you mean? It is easy to carry 6.
Yeah.
3
Do
in
you know
each
what
hand.
you got?
Yeah.
Charging for the meat.
The meat. Yeah. So
Let's see how the others are doing.
I was going to say, you're probably going to need somewhere to go. So we're going to switch back over to Norfrit. And was Frey going with you?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
so
Silverwater.
Norfrit, Frey, Silverwater, yeah. So where were you guys headed?
Yeah.
You're making your way all the way through the tavern.
She's
Vivian?
so hot. She's dwarf and she's hot now.
All right. So as you sort of move through, there is a moment as you sort of pass one of the more central tables, which is the one that's got several of these ranger uniform individuals, the half-dressed knight, and the tall human with his boots up. And as you sort of walk past, he's got this almost half-drunken sort of laugh, and he's partially singing along. You can't help but note that his eyes track you as you walk past. Very, very clear and lucid.
Like in a she's hot way, or just like tracking us? Because
Would you like to look back and check?
oh yeah.
Oh no.
Okay. No. He is looking at you like you're new, and I don't know who you are.
That's the
I'm not
general,
as-
everyone.
I'm not as drunk as I sound like I am, and I'm keeping my eye on you.
Or second in command, rather. That's Altarn. Altarn.
Second in command.
Second. This can only go well.
Hell yeah.
But you head past that table, and the whole time he's watching, he keeps up this loud sort of drunken conversation where he's almost half singing whatever's going on. So he's obviously very good at what having done this in the past. But as you approach the top, a different kind of singing hits your ears. As you see that the Drakarn with the rainbow-coloured scales has his wee harp out, and he's strumming it. And he is singing what the first refrains that hit your ears seem like it is some kind of romantic song deigned to woo and entice somebody. And then as you get a few lines in and you begin to make it out over everything else that's going on, you realize, no, that's not what this is at all. This is very bawdy. This is an erotic poem sung, designed to tell people of carnal desires and the Kama Sutra in song form. And everybody else at the table seems to be uncomfortably aware of this, except for the Drakarn himself and the individual you don't know. So Vian hasn't seen you because she's got her back to you. But I'll give you a little description of everybody else at the table, beyond what I already have. The Drakarn himself has wee little, apart from the rainbow-coloured scales, he's got little bits of gems or glass orbs that seem to be attached to his scales in different places. And he's very well aware of the effect that it has as he sort of twists and he turns to hit the lamplight and becomes his own sort of living disco ball, as the little bits of light refract out from it and create those sorts of little shiny bits everywhere. And he never drops a beat. Never ever drops a beat to his incredibly detailed and in-depth song, which you would know if anybody was paying attention would be very, very uncomfortable. He has nothing on except for a very tight blue vest. Nothing on underneath. He is about as bare-chested as he can possibly get without being bare-chested, and has
He's wearing pants, though, right?
Yeah, I was about to say he is wearing trousers that are hung a little low. Like whereas most Drakarns have possibly got like a spot at the back for their tail to emerge from. No, his is down below the tail, and then hitched up over the hips, and he's got these tiny wee suspenders that attach the vest to the pants to keep them up.
Oh my gosh.
He also has a
Love
lute.
him.
He also has a lute sitting next to the table, but he's not using that at the moment. Sitting next to him is a wee goblin, the one that was very grumpy when he arrived. It's almost a typical sort of greenskin goblin. He's got the very long, pointy ears, but he's got like a red mottling down one cheek and down his neck and underneath his robe. And his robe is a very rich, almost gravy-colored brown, like an actual, like proper brown gravy, and it is spotless. It is like the color on it is so clean. It's so hard to look away from it. But he has a scowl on his face as he listens and winces at almost every line of the Drakan song. But he's obviously used to it and putting up with it. Across the table from him, you've got the waif girl. You can't tell whether they're human, elven, half-elven, because they're sort of hunched down into this massive, draping, almost curtain-like white robe. Unlike the others at the table, her robe is a bit tatty and almost just a touch grimy, but it's not overly so. Like at a distance, you wouldn't be able to tell. But she has sort of her hair draped all over her face, so it's hard to make out her features. And her hair itself is pure white, except for strips of black that seem to permeate it in small little strips that, again, at a distance, you probably wouldn't notice it so much, but only as you get closer do you sort of see these black strips in her hair. Next to that is the small Pugoi, who, size of a halfling, kid of a dog. He, resting up against the table is his
What
massive...
kind of dog?
It's for our notes. So,
He's a corgi.
Oh.
Yeah, he is a corgi. And he has resting up against the table is the massive battle axe where the haft is longer than what he is. Within reach. He is wearing what looks almost like a tuxedo suit, but it's unbuttoned a little bit because obviously he's he's in warm climes and he's resting, so he's not needing to put on the whole perfect looks of thing. He has a pair of spectacles perched on his muzzle. And is very quietly sipping away at a drink whilst he looks very intently at the Drakan like he wants to say something, but there's something else going on at the table that's stopping him. You can tell from Vian's posture, Vian, she's obviously very, very done with this, as you can just sort of see her half hunched into the table, but you can see the tightness in her shoulders, like she just wants to reach over and just sock the Drakan in the jaw to shut him up. But across the other side of the table from her is the unknown person. And this is a human woman who has white hair. And it is up and in a high pony. Like it is tied up and almost like comes up high out of her head, and then a ponytail that drapes all the way down past the back of the chair she's sitting on. She's a very tall individual. You can tell just by how she's sitting at the table. Very lithe. She's wearing a dress that seems very out of place for like the soldiers and even the merchants and construction workers here. It has that kind of shimmery silver and almost that pink sort of color. Yeah, sometimes when you catch something shiny and it's got that sort of sheen to it, it's got that sort of feel to it as the light strikes it. And it's slit very high up the thigh, but then she's wearing dark trousers underneath that have got large holes purposefully ripped in them, but the dress is sewn into the trousers. And whilst the dress looks very tight and form-fitting, it's got large draping sections of cloth that give the illusion that it is actually very much a large robe if she was up and moving around. But that is the individuals at this table. And again, Vian has not noticed you. And it is this unknown woman that is the one that is possibly stopping the other two from doing anything, as she has got a huge grin on her face at the Drakarn song. And she is laughing and slapping her thigh and just having a great old time with his incredibly erotic song that is inappropriate and out of place here in this tavern. There you go. Information overload there.
My notes.
Okay.
NPCs, yay!
My phone was about to die, so I had to bring up a notepad on my computer.
Hello, gum.
Okay.
All right.
Appleweed.
What am I drinking? I am drinking a sugar-free Monster Paradiso.
Oh.
Yep. It's a bit late for me to be doing that, but it's been a long day and I'm doing D&D, so I don't care because I'm not working tomorrow.
Yay!
Hey!
You're gonna stream instead. Maybe?
I mean, I might do, but we'll see. Anyway.
Okay. I suppose we go over there. I'm helping Surawatha.
Yep.
And I'm just gonna act real casual about it, because I know that guy's watching. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, is there a room at this table for a few extra friends tonight?"
As you approach the table, you do suddenly realize that there are, in fact, two tables that have been jammed together, because most of the tables here are only really designed for a few people, and there's 6 here already.
Yep.
The strange lady does not acknowledge you. The bard doesn't skip a beat and just kind of moves around in his chair to look up at you while he continues his refrains. You know, about the proper technique of a spear thrust into an unguarded opponent. And Vian, just the sort of tightness in her shoulders just kind of drops as she sort of looks over. She just kind of drapes her head backwards over the chair and almost just looks directly up at you. And it's kind of like, oh, thank God. And she sort of looks over at the Drakarn and he just kind of winks and lowers his tone but keeps going. Doesn't stop, but reads
He's like, I gotta finish the song. We're in stanza 4 right now.
Yeah, he needs to finish his piece. You know, I mean, leaving somebody unfinished in the middle of this strenuous event, come on, it's not an appropriate climax. So he drops his tone, and Vian sort of just then, once he does that, she sort of drapes one arm over the chair and looking up at you. It's kind of like, oh, I'm glad you made it. There's not a lot of room, but I'm sure we can find another unoccupied table to drag over. She sort of half stands up, and there's a slight stagger to her, like a half step. And it's then as she sort of steps up and away from the table, you see she's got like 4 mugs empty and drained around her and 1 full one. Whereas everybody else at the table only really has 1, except for the strange woman who also has like 3 in front of her. But she sort of looks on over and she sort of sees that there's a table nearby with 2 people who both seem to be unconscious. So she sort of strides on over and does what she does. She grabs them both by the collar, lifts them up and seats them against the wall and then just drags the table over.
Ah, she's so cool.
And kind of makes a loose jumble as the Pugoi and the small waif girl sort of separate their chairs to make room. She then very loudly drags more chairs over. It's like, is your whole crew here? Or is it what? How many we got?
We've got 5.
5.
Yeah.
And this would be the one that you had the business in the
Yeah.
hello. Right. And Surawatha very meekly sort of waves back.
Vian, Surawatha, Vian.
All right, yeah, we'll do introduction in a bit when everybody else arrives. That way we don't need to do it more than once. You got drinks coming, or?
That's where the others are right now, at the bar.
Oh, good. There's not a lot of variety, but at least it's something. And, places the seats down, and it is at this point that the strange lady kind of stops paying attention to the Drakarn and just immediately starts looking at the 2 of you with a smile on her face. And you do note that tied up high on the corner of her dress, there is actually a Kirith Narn pin that she's wearing out in the open. But after all of that, yeah, I'm sure that the other two can make their way with 12 drinks to the table. In fact, I'm kind of tempted to get a dexterity check from both of you just because that's funny. As you make your way through this crowded tavern with 6 mugs
It's
each.
just this one drunk guy putting his foot out like,
Oh no.
So the clink of the mugs would match the clink of dice going into a cup or into a bowl or something. Because there is that happening here too. I didn't mention that. I forgot about that. That's fine. I forget things.
What?
Ah, there's gambling going on one of the tables.
Oh.
People throwing dice into a bowl and money changing hands.
Were you
Gambling.
legit about that roll for dexterity?
Yep.
Oh no.
What did you roll?
Let's make an entrance, everyone.
That, in total, is a 4. I rolled a 2. Just one above in that one.
Oh no.
I didn't roll well either, but I got a 12.
Shut up, Rogue.
Well, for carrying 6 mugs, 12 was actually the DC, so, you did okay.
This is fine.
The second carrying the water though? Or...
You maybe didn't quite manage it with the entirety of a usual sort of swagger and confidence, but you did manage it. With a 4...
Oh no.
Do you want to roll a d6 for me, Vix?
Oh no. How many glasses break?
What?
Huh?
A 1. I rolled
A
real well.
Ooh.
Okay, and now I need to roll a dice to see some consequences.
Oh.
Consequences.
Oh
That
no. Are we
pretending to
gonna
be
start
drunk,
a
guys.
bar
I'm
fight?
just going to
Oh.
spill all our drinks on
Keep it
him.
for a D&D game, right?
Are you gonna spill it on some poor person and start a bar brawl and we've only been here like 2 minutes?
No.
Where everyone's gonna be like, sunset!
It was more about which one you were dropping.
Oh.
Oh no.
And because of what I rolled, it is in fact the mead. You look
One
at
of the money
mead.
glasses.
One of the ones with that cost money. Yeah. So unfortunately, that does sort of go as you're sort of making your way around all of these different individuals. There is one of the guys that sort of starts scooching his chair out, like he either needs to go relieve himself or grab another drink.
Or throw
But
up.
he's not aware of the fact that you're directly behind him, and the chair sort of bumps into you. And because you're sort of trying to concentrate so much carrying these, there is this moment of like, how dare you bump into me while I'm trying this incredibly trying task before you even realize that you've dropped one of them. And there is an incredibly loud laugh from a nearby table and a couple of small claps before everybody goes back to their business, and you look down to see a small puddle of mead at the bottom at your feet with the mug rolling around on the ground.
Blow suck.
Oh man, that was one of the money ones.
Sorry about that. It's my fault. I'm gonna go pee. See you later.
You can go bring us a drink when you come back, yeah?
Go on there, mate.
Ah.
Already moving towards the already moving towards the door.
Oh man. Tough luck. 5 copper down the drain. I still say floor suck, but
Yes.
Come on,
Yeah.
second.
But yes, you without incident make your
Don't
way
tell
over.
Alfred.
You head on over to the other table, and it's kind of interesting because with the 6 there and the 5 of you, and the fact that you dropped one, you've now got 11 mugs, and there are now 11 of you between these 3 tables. So hey, I guess that kind of worked out.
Perfect.
It's just a matter of who's getting the water, because who wants the water? When you're at a tavern, right?
Some people need it. It's fine.
Some people need it, yeah. But yeah, you all do arrive, and you sort of get these sort of looks from a couple of them. The bar just keeps on singing, and now he's sort of going on about the virtues of wielding a shield in the tenets of protection against a well-armed foe. It's really, really odd to hear this man go on and on about it, and there almost seems like the goblin has kind of lowered his head against his arms into the table, and he's just kind of dunk, dunk, dunk against his arms. Whilst the others sort of look up at you. Even the waif girl sort of partially sort of drifts her hair aside to sort of uncover one eye to sort of look at all of these new people joining them. But Vian has managed to source more chairs. In fact, you're pretty sure she maybe has displaced a couple of owners of those chairs. Whether by choice or by word, she's just, and there is now enough space for you all to sit down at this grouping of tables. Welcome to the party.
Good to see you again.
And you. More drinks. That is the right way to go about greeting someone. And she immediately sort of reaches over and grabs like 3 of them, not caring what they are, and puts them down on the table.
Were they water though?
I don't think she cared. She just grabbed whatever and put them down on the table.
She grabbed liquid.
Yeah.
Ah. The 2 lumps are like a metaphor for the mountains, I think that's what the song is about. I think it's like it's a landscape that they're...
And the goblin, who's beating his head against his arms, goes, "Just wait, he's going to get to the point where the volcano erupts shortly."
Oh, okay. So some seismic activity, I see.
So seismic.
Yeah, the Poogoy is just kind of like, something about tectonic movements. I really don't understand this at all. Yeah. But yes, they all sort of there's vague greetings as you all kind of sit down. But yeah, the strange lady is very, very quiet, as is the waif girl. The bard doesn't introduce himself, he just keeps going. And there is a moment where the Poogoy looks over, it's like, for somebody who is, very good at reading a crowd, you're not particularly good at reading individuals. It might be time to stop. And he just kind of grins even wider and ups the volume a little bit more. At which point Vian does reach across and cuff him. And he sort of sputters to a halt for a moment, thinks, and then ekes out just a few more refrains, bringing the song to a climax before going, I'm done now, okay? Thank you.
It was a rushed climax, but we got there, so...
I mean, any climax is better than none, right?
True. I would have missed out on the whole volcano part if you didn't carry on, so...
Oh, but it's integral! No! Stop! And it's like... I mean, an artist isn't even allowed to describe their work these days, honestly.
We appreciate your endeavors, but we have been on the road long, and it would be nice to see how things fare here, because the guards were saying something about a state of alert. Thought we'd kind of escaped that leaving Cascorn.
The small Poogoy sort of looks over, and you do see that he is completely sober. In fact, the mug he has in front
He's
of
a
him
good boy.
is water.
Second, we'll
and-
make sure to get direct one of the waters in front of him
Towards
to
him?
replenish.
Yeah, where he gives you an affirming nod, and it's kind of like, yes, well, as it turns out, I think the guards might have slightly oversold it. There was kind of a state of alert recently. I don't know if you're aware of how things have been here for a while. Bandits and merchants being attacked, and it's all very, very unpleasant. But there was an expedition with some of the rangers and some of the support knights from the capital, Sunhaven. They set out after one of the latest attacks. And Vian sort of looks up and is like, and it was an attack on one of the Kirith Nan wagons, by the way. So yeah, one of the Kirith Nan wagons, yes, but many of the goods were stolen, and unfortunately a couple of the merchants were killed. So in retaliation, they set out the garrison to kind of take care of it. Big battle. Lots of people from nearby homesteads and farms were all captured. They went in and they kind of, resolved the issue by killing a few of them and capturing the rest. As you can sort of see, as he sort of looks around, there are a few injuries. Big battle. You would think that a group of bandits wouldn't be much of a challenge for trained and seasoned soldiers. And as
You
he sort
would
of
think,
says that,
wouldn't you?
as he sort of says that, there are a few dirty looks from the other tables
Oh no.
about that. And even the tall human man, his eyes sort of look over and just start staring intently at the Pugoi. But state of alert, I guess, is maybe a bit much. Everybody's just a little bit on edge after all of that. Some of the prisoners are still here and hereabouts, and some of them now being conscripted into construction work to recompense for the damages they did. But state of alert, sure. Yes. Hello, by the way. Who of you? Obviously, you're acquainted with Vian. My name is, and he starts, and immediately the Drakarn chimes in, going, "His name is Sir Woofington." It's like, shut up! That is not my name. That is a racial stereotype, and it is Sir Woofington. It's like, get off! Yes, you can call me Sir Woofington. I'm just kind of about used to it at this point.
What would be your first name?
Sir Woofington.
Oh.
Yeah. It's just Sir Woofington.
Is that your actual name?
You can call me Woofington if you would like, or you can call me Sir. Just don't call me Woof. I draw the line at that.
But is this his actual name?
It's fine. If I tell you anything else, they'll all argue and tell you not to call me that. It's fine. It's okay. Just Sir Woofington is fine.
Okay.
All the note takers are now screaming.
What's that?
All the note takers are now screaming.
I want to take his real name.
For all intents and purposes, right now, that's going to be his real name.
Excellent. I love that.
That is what he's going to be known as, is Sir Woofington.
I can just feel the deep loathing. Like it's
Sir
But also-
Woofington.
But also resignation to it.
the resignation. It's
Yeah.
just-
You know, if your friend here is allowed to give you a name, I'm sure you are allowed to give him a name back. So what would you like us to call him?
Oh, he's just an unmitigated asshole.
Unmitigated asshole is really nice to make your acquaintance.
Oh, no. No, my name is Valentis, and that's not going to change. I won't answer to unmitigated asshole.
Valentis, have I heard that before?
Make an intelligence check.
Guys, put the full
A
name as
second.
unmitigated asshole Valentis.
Mr. Asshole.
18 on the dice and no
18?
pluses.
I do not believe you are familiar with the name Valentis, and if you are, it would not be in regards to this individual. Yep. The goblin at this point, sort of, now that the singing's stopped, he's still got his head down on the table, and he sort of lifts it up, still got the frown on his face, looks around at you all, and is like, since we're doing introductions, Zal.
Zal.
That's it. Zal. Nothing else. Don't need to be called anything else. Zal. Just puts his head back down.
Nice to meet you, Zal.
Here too. Fred here, as the Pugoi sort of reaches out and just almost, but not quite, puts his hand on the small waif girl. Fred here is we call her Glow.
Oh.
What a pretty name.
Yes, we thought so too. And then the other lady who's just been sitting there quietly through all of this, kind of crosses her legs, looks back at you all and leans back in the chair. It's like, and my name is Jean. So I suppose now that we've all introduced ourselves, it's time for you all to introduce yourselves. Clearly you're familiar with my friend Vian. Who all are you, interesting folk?
The second from the Tuvasa tribe, at your service, ma'am.
Nofret Kepri of the Tuvasa tribe.
Both from the same tribe. Sisters?
Also a Kepri, yes.
And you, sir?
I'm Vander.
A pleasure, Vander. And, the two gnomes? Surawatha sort of... Oh, hi, Surawatha of the Order of the Heavenly Triad. It's like, And you, miss?
Freely's Winterlight of the Heavenly Triad as well.
A long way from home, some of you. What brings you to Fort Falling Embers? You're welcome, by the way. But what brings you all the way out here?
Second actually shows her pin, because she was one of the ones that got a pin for the...
Ooh.
Our good friend said that our services might be needed, or appreciated at least.
Her eyes flick briefly to Vian and look back at you. It's like, and who was this good friend?
Second just kind of raises an eyebrow and looks at Vian.
I'm solving the problems. Nobody else wants to speak up?
Do they seem trustworthy?
You can make
They just seem interested.
You can make a collective insight check. You can do an insight check against one of them. Trustworthy is a little hard to gauge at this point, but you can still make an attempt at deciding whether in your brief interaction they're trustworthy or not. You can insight for something else, but trustworthy is a bit...
I would like to... Does she just seem overly curious? Or is
Not
this
quite
just
comes
like
stitch.
nice curiosity?
Okay, you can make an insight check on that. Vian sort of looks, as you're looking at her, she looks back at you, Sekhet, and it's kind of like, I think she means guys.
17.
And at that, Jean's like, yes. 17?
Yeah.
She just seems like a genuinely curious person. Like she is one of those people where, oh, something interesting. I now want to know things about it. Like just, yeah, there's something interesting going on. I want to know. Just, that's it.
Okay.
Like there doesn't seem any other intent behind it.
Malicious.
But the fact is, you also showed a Kirith Nan pin, so her interest is even higher than what it might be normally. But
Okay.
she also, not only does that also brings in an element of, so why do you have that? Because I don't know you, sort of thing. Like just that sort of like curiosity going to ever so
But
slight
she's like, we're part
caution.
of the same club, but we've never met before.
I've never met you, never heard of you. You obviously know Viand, but there's a slight level of caution here. So I want to know why or how. But at the name Geis, yeah, Jean just does kind of sort of with her elbow on the table go, oh, yes. you're here to help a friend, did you say?
We are trying to help our friend Siruwatha get home.
Oh, from the Order of the Heavenly Triad. That's a long way from home. A long journey lies ahead of you all if that's the case.
It's a fun trick.
That's the best way to look at it.
And there might be opportunities along the way. So
Oh, there's always opportunities. You just need to know where to look or how to make them.
I think that's part of being one of Kirat Nan's people, is it not?
Very much so.
Is Guy's here?
Oh, no. No, not at all. No, as far as members of Kirith Nan go, you will find that it is myself, Vian, and I suppose if you're wearing the pins yourselves.
Understood.
But we do have a vested interest in things going on here, so we have, and she sort of looks at the other four. So, we've employed outside help to maybe try and recover some of the goods stolen from one of our merchant trains.
Understood. Will you be needing further assistance for this?
Oh, it's possible, but for right now, we're just going to do some more information gathering. In fact, and she looks at Vian, will be doing that very shortly, won't I, my dear? And Vian suddenly just sort of sits up straight. Very shortly. Shaking off her appearing to be drunk.
Should we, stay out of your way for as much as we can, then?
Oh, that's entirely up to you. I believe these four are possibly going to be doing some entertaining here shortly. Is that right, Valentus? He goes, oh, I'm always down for some entertaining, Jean. You know that. And once again, you hear the rhythmic thump of Zal's head banging against his forearms on the table. But it does appear as though that's the case. And she sort of looks at she sort of eyes up the rest of you. It's like, I don't really know that we require help, but you are wearing the pins. If you want to be of help, I'm sure you could come along. Could be very interesting. We could learn some very interesting things. Actually, now that I think about it, and she does look over at Vian. Vian's kind of like, She reaches down below the table and then sort of brings up a closed fist and sort of holds it out. And as she sort of opens up her hand, you do note that in her palm, she's holding a white pawn piece.
Oh no, oh no.
Oh, I'm in, baby. Let us get in there.
I believe you are the ones that were interested in finding out more about the snavery, right? And she sort of closes her hand so nobody else gets a look at it. It's like, because the person I'm going to go and talk to, I have reason to believe that the banditry lately has got something to do with it. And this was found on their leader's body, and I want to go talk to him. So if you are curious, you're more than welcome to come along.
Consider us in.
With Belle.
Very good. Siruwatha has already taken a seat and is slamming back one of the meads. And she's sort of sitting next to the waif.
Just not got none of the meads at this point.
I mean, he can have them. It's fine. But sitting next to the waif girl, and the waif girl just sort of reaches across with one hand, sort of still hunched up, grabs one of the ales and scooches it across in front of Siruwatha, before grabbing one for herself and just kind of holding it in front of her in two hands. Surawatha finishes the mead, looks at the ale, smiles at the girl, and starts slamming that one back too.
I'm just kind of observing that Surawatha is about to get smashed. We
Oh, yeah.
have not acquired beds, and apparently it is very busy up here right now.
Oh, it is. I mean, if you are staying for the night, arrangements can very easily be made. You don't necessarily need to stay in the rooms for the public.
Okay.
You are, of course, and she sort of taps the pin, associates. So arrangements can be made.
I hope
Especially-
that our friend can be
especially-
looked after.
Especially cost-free if you're willing to help me tonight.
I don't mind the saving, that's for sure.
I think, and she sort of looks at the friend Surawatha, who's now onto her third cup. It's like, I think your friend might be fine here with the others if they are willing to look after her. And the Pugoi sort of looks over and says, yes, I think that could be arranged. Obviously, somebody needs to stay sober and awake and looking after everybody. And the goblin lifts his head like, better you than me! And pumps his head back down onto his forearms.
You are as
But-
noble as a duke, Sir Worthington.
Okay, thank you. I think that was a compliment. Is that a compliment? Just take the compliment. Okay, all right.
Perhaps we should upgrade his rank.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
So whether you guys want to take some time or not, there can be more drinks if you would like, or not. You may do other things in the tavern.
Has that dude who dropped, who bumped into Sekhet returned?
Nope.
He's been
The
stabbed in an alleyway.
I haven't found him yet.
other human man,
So what was that? What was that, Frey?
the tall human man that was tracking both me and Nofred, is
Yep.
he looking at us, or is he still like?
Make a perception check. I probably should have done that for Vander with the man returning, but that's fine. Make a perception check.
The man will never return.
I just
That's
looked
Vanda's
up-
prerogative.
Should I check if you guys want a break or something?
But it's an
Just go to
18.
7, right?
Yeah, we're only going to 7, so 18. Yes, he is, but he's not doing it as intently as he may have been before. He is definitely still keeping his eye on you, but he's also very much still interacting with the people around him and laughing and chatting. But you also begin to understand that it's not just you he's watching. He's doing this to everybody. Yeah, despite the number of people in this room, his eyes are watching all over the place. They're constantly flickering between people. They'll settle on one group for a little bit longer. And there are moments, with an 18, there are moments where some of the discussions you're having, his head does turn a little bit more intently towards you all, as though he can maybe hear you or understand you, before it sort of looks away again, as if something else takes his attention.
Frey's
Yeah.
gonna put her, like, she's gonna, like, lean on the table.
Yep.
Like, elbow on the table, and she's gonna ask one of the group that's near her, like, next to her, just being like, do you know the tall man that's doing the, I don't know, like, a patrol?
Jean immediately lets out a laugh. She goes, "That's Altan.
Oh, that's...
Don't mind him. He's, well, I was about to say he's harmless, but he's really not. He's actually incredibly deadly. But as long as you don't give him a reason to piss him off, you'll be fine. He's being a little extra sensitive at the moment because of the things that just went on."
Okay. That's good
He's-
to know.
he's not really one usually for taking responsibility for people, and right now, because the commander has decided to lock herself away to deal with the aftermath of the situation, he's having to be in charge, and it doesn't sit well on his shoulders.
Oh, so he's just a bit grumpy.
Well, maybe overcompensating a little rather than grumpy. It's like, oh, I have to be in charge. Let me take this super seriously, when he's really not a super serious guy at all. And you can almost hear the sigh from across the room.
I just made a connection. I remember when they asked us to play escort to a caravan and we couldn't. It's literally that caravan got fucking jacked.
Oops.
That was the plot. That was the plot point you were heading towards. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yep.
I
That same caravan is what kicked off this particular incident here.
Wow.
Good connection. Well done.
I was like, it's
Yeah,
a fucking
that was-
caravan.
That was exactly the
caravan?
same caravan. That was where that, if you guys had gone with that, that was going to be the situation that arose from it.
Wow. Interesting. Lemon interesting.
The world goes on without you, though.
I just love and hate that about your world, because now I know that I could fuck up and choose the wrong quest line.
There's no such thing as a wrong quest line.
No.
He's
Just
doing it again.
differences. No, there's just differences. So, you know. But yeah, now this is one of those moments where now that you've made that connection, you can sort of see the aftermath of something, of a path you didn't choose.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's happened a couple of times. I just don't think the connections have quite been made. This is one of the first times. Should other questions about certain activities arise here at Fort Falling Embers, there might be other paths not chosen that you find the result of. So, anyway,
My world continues without you.
I mean, the thing being, I try to pride myself on the fact that the world does continue
It's cool.
in and around them. You know, like that's kind of the entire point of trying to create an active, living, breathing world. Is it's not 100% reliant on the players. But, the players are still incredibly important and the centerpiece. So that's never going to change.
Oh boy. Okay.
Right, but yes. Is there anything else that a lot of you would like to do for the evening before Jean apparently conscripts you into whatever scheme she has set up? Yeah, exactly, Owen. Exactly right.
Ale.
More.
More ale.
Would you like to consume some more alcohol?
Yes,
Because-
please.
Okay.
Every time one of these people places a drink in front of Nofrit, she just like pushes it away and continues sipping water.
Would you like to be restrained on how much you are having, or are you just not caring?
Probably be best to be restrained.
I mean, you don't have to. It could make things that follow very interesting.
Ooh, that's fun. Yeah, let's do that.
Right?
Because Sekit was all for getting absolutely legless because like there's so much protection around, and
Yeah.
then the fucking chess piece came out.
Oh no, I'll drink for you.
Yeah, you got that one right, Toxic. I
think
immediately
it's-
lashed onto whoops, I've made a mistake there, but I don't care, it's good.
The slavery
It's a
thing is
good
just
one.
very close to
It's a-
get a
it's-
no for
it's
it. They're
a-
like,
The hot button topic. Yeah.
Pineapple.
Okay, so are you having probably more drinks than are recommended, Frey, or anyone else?
what are you doing, Bando?
Keeping in mind that at this point, for whatever reason, the barkeeper's not charging you for ale, he's only charging you for mead.
Don't. I know it's free, and I want it because it's free, but you can't.
Yes, I can.
You know what?
I
I'm
100% can.
I'm gonna get my little decision decider, my coin.
Go for it.
Oh.
Yes.
Heads is continue drinking. Tails is no. Oh, would you look at that? It's a head.
So that was a continued drinking?
We're getting sloshed.
Beautiful. Bring me a constitution saving throw for the amount of alcohol you consume. Right?
Oh, yeah.
I don't blame Frey, honestly. We've
No.
been running ragged
Yeah.
for so long. Cut
Yeah.
loose.
This is definitely going to be a bit of a change of tone from here for a bit while, you know.
That is a 16.
16. Yeah, you have some a good number of drinks, and by the time Surawatha is almost passed out, you are maybe slightly feeling a good little buzz, but not enough to impair you in any way at this
Love
stage.
that. At this
At this stage. Is there anything you guys would like otherwise to do?
Can I scan the... Is there any other people from the tribes? Like from Tiragonia? Is there any other...
Tiragonia?
Yeah.
Make
out of
another perception check.
curiosity. I could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not very good though. Apparently the bard is just really loud.
Early.
5.
5? Okay. You know, with all of the bodies here and the noise and the shifting focus, it's been a long time since you've been in an enclosed space that has this many people. Everything that's going on and the fact that the whole chess piece has sort of now become forefront, it's a little bit hard for you to take that moment to actually focus on the other people around you, because you just sort of keep being drawn back to the little pouch that Jean sort of put the chess piece back into.
And I keep
so many
tapping my
questions
foot.
popping through your head. Yeah, so many things going on. You just cannot focus on anything other than that right now.
Because I still
Can
have
I-
my toe box with the other chess piece in it. Inside of the horn of like the tip of my
Yeah.
shoe.
Yep.
So I'm like keep shaking my leg and being like, stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I have a look at Tark's bulging sack?
You can. You can indeed, if you would like. Are you going to place Tarka's bulging sack on the table to reveal it for all of these people while you manhandle it and potentially spill its contents?
How large is the sack?
I mean, this is Tarka's sack. It's going to be generous.
So if I just kept it in my lap, it would just spill all over the table.
It's a good place to keep a sack. It's probably large enough that, like, you've got 3 tables sort of clumped together. You could probably, like, the sack itself is reasonably sized. Like, if you open up the contents, depending on what's in there, it could spill across the table. But honestly, the sack itself is not going to take up a huge amount of room. The sack itself could comfortably rest on a plate.
Like,
Still a
I'd like
big
to do
sack.
kind of that, like,
Ooh.
sitting it there and then just, like, not letting it just kind of, like, flitting through it.
You're just gonna get your fingers all up in the sack and
Yeah,
give it a little,
yeah,
give it
yeah.
a little bit of work.
Keep it
All right.
nice and private.
Yep.
You know.
This is the episode today.
Too late to rename the episode there, back.
This is
Never too
Tarka's
late.
sack.
Never too late. All right. So, examining the contents of Tarka's bulging sack, you have several bottles. Are immediately what take your notice. Sort of plumped on top of whatever else is in there. Removing those or shifting those aside, there are a couple of crystals underneath, as well as several very small gems. He seems to be attempting to, again, pay you guys off without having paid you off. And near the bottom of it, you can't quite make it out without moving all of the contents, but there does appear to be, just get the fingers in there, give it a little bit of a wiggle, a little bit of a tick, just scrape the fingers along it. Yeah, no, there's definitely something very leathery at the bottom of the sack.
I needed this.
To anybody who says we're a very serious D&D game, you are correct. Guess what? We also have it at moments. But yeah, there's potion bottles, a couple of crystals, some gems, and something else fairly leathery at the bottom that is not Tarka's sack.
If I like mold my hand around the leathery bit, can I like get a sense of the shape? Is it like clothing? Is it like a sheath?
Okay, you'd like to fondle the sack. Okay. Gum, we are not going to get it together. We are children, but guess what? We are grown-ass people who occasionally like to act like children because this is the moment we get. It has a it sort of has almost like a drop like shape to it.
Like a sack?
Like a sack. Yep. Yep.
I nugget.
Oh, I know, Gum. I'm just stating that now in general. It's not very often we manage to go off the rails for my campaign, and I'm very glad on the session. I'm very glad the sessions we get to actually be silly and stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
We're in a
do need
bar,
them.
we're talking, we're going silly
Yeah,
town.
it's the start of some new stuff, so it is a good time to just be a bit sillier. But yes, it does feel as though inside Tarka's bulging sack there may perhaps be another sack. How exactly Tarka managed that, who knows?
Sucks tucking in sacks. Sacks tucking in sacks.
It's
I mean,
sackception. Yep.
Sorry.
For the sake of it, inside there are 3 bottles. These are all 3 healing potions. Okay. There are 2 crystals that you guys will have to spend time with to discern what they are, or attempt to bond with them if they are in fact living crystals. It's hard to tell at this
God
point.
damn this world.
Yep.
How
There
How many?
are
crystals?
3 healing potions.
And how many crystals?
Yeah.
2. There's about a handful of gems. I will give you the grand total of what they're worth later, or if there is any specific style of gem you need to know, but I'll move on past this shortly. And it is, in fact, at the bottom of the bulging sack. As you relieve the sack of its contents, surely enough, there is another sack. But this one is empty.
Can I try and put other things in it and see if it's like holds everything without even looking like it's holding anything?
Sure, you'd like to
Why
check
would
if it's...
Sickett think of that?
I don't know. I think it doesn't matter. I'll allow it. There's been so many sack-based jokes tonight. As it turns out,
It's a sack of storing?
it is a sack with an extra dimensional space inside.
Oh, sack of
It's-
D's nuts.
Sack of storing. That is now.
Yeah. It's the equivalent of a bag of holding, but it's a sack
It's a sack of storing.
because you can have so many more jokes with that.
But is it watertight?
One way to find out. But yes, and yeah, I'll do a breakdown later of what the crystals and the gems are. But
I
that
want to know
was
what
what
colors they are. Oh, no, again, later. We can do it later.
We'll do it later. Yeah, other stuff too. Loot breakdown later. We can also address that at the start of next session. I'm not going to do that right now. But sure enough, the time does come in the evening where Jean sort of just does like this underwood sort of stretch in her chair, hands together, clasped up over her head, stretching out, full body in this form-fitting dress, intentionally, obviously, and just kind of slides sideways out of the chair and rests her hand on Valentus's shoulder, where he just immediately looks up at her, grins, puts the harp down that he's been holding this whole time, and immediately slings the loot up and around. And he stands on his chair, one leg, and then puts the other leg on the table in front of him, and immediately starts playing. The
Smack
goblin,
attacker.
yeah, the goblin sort of lifts his head up from his forearms, not asleep. He goes, "Alright, is that time, is it? Alright." And he sort of wiggles in his chair, sort of sits himself, goes cross-legged on it, and immediately starts wiggling his fingers, and you start to see like little bits of light start drifting around Valentis, which with the little glass and gem orbs he's got, immediately starts bringing that disco sort of feel to it, even in bigger
yeah.
contrast. And the Pugoi takes his axe out, plants the blade down on the ground, and then immediately takes a loop of string, or what looks like string, wraps it around the pommel, and drags it down the length of the haft over across the blade, and forms almost what looks like a massive cello as he starts beginning to play that. And the waif girl, Glow, just gets up and starts moving around the table very quietly and slowly. You're not entirely sure what it is she's doing at this stage. She ends up dancing to this later, but you guys won't be here to see that.
Ah,
Yeah. So this is apparently...
Is Sudawatha, like, in their cups?
They are, yeah, they are very much so. But Sir Woofington has sort of planted himself nearby, so he's like right there beside Sudawatha. So he's taken his whole thing of he's going to look after her very seriously.
Okay.
At that, Vian also just kind of slides out of her chair, and Jean and Vian begin to walk towards the exit, and Jean just sort of looks at the four of you and just kind of drifts her hand along with her, like, just time for us to go. And she, even as she walks out, directly looks at the person you now know as Altan, like almost challenging his gaze, like he's going to be looking and seeing you leave anyway. But she looks directly at him and just smiles widely, and almost just reaches down, and the hand that she used to sort of, you know, drift across to sort of bring you guys with her, she sort of reaches out and just drifts it across his chin as well, just deliberately, like, haha, on the way out, as they head for the tavern exit. You guys are gonna follow, or?
Yep.
All right. And as you do...
I
Yep.
cast Allied Footsteps on Sudawatha.
Okay.
But they know where we are.
Yep. What sort of components is that?
That's a great fucking question. Let me get back to you.
Let me get back to you, fam.
Because as you guys leave, you do hear this very loud, sort of initially discordant jangle from Valentis's lyre, or his lute, and this sort of almost booming bass come from Sir Woofington's axe cello. As Glow begins to go into some really strange sort of contortionist dance around the table, and Valentis is just full on in his moment astride this table, taking it all in. There'll also be illusions and things from Zyle the Goblin, but again. How are you going on that?
It says
It's
a piece of
distraction.
parchment.
So is it verbal, somatic,
Yeah,
material?
all three.
It's all three? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Right, so
That could have been seen as hostile there.
maybe. But then again, it's not the first spell that's been cast in this tavern either.
No.
Right, so as you guys follow Jean and Vian out into the courtyard, you do notice that many of the green and brown clad rangers are no longer present. The knights do appear to still be at their posts, either in front of the command structure or at the different emplacements, the devices around the battlements. But none of them really seem to be particularly focused on anything inside the keep. The ones at the command structure are, but they are rigidly looking forward. They are at their post. They're like the Tower of London guardsmen. The only thing they care about is somebody coming at them. So nobody notices as you guys leave, nor as Jean sort of looks around and sort of steps back against the wall, and Vian follows closely. almost just sort of making sure she's out of sight. She then sort of beckons to you all as the four of you exit the tavern.
Hey team, we're being stealthy now, okay?
Okay.
That's the idea. Get a little closer.
Did you
please.
hiccup? What? I can't look at Frey like, what's going on? We quietly.
Yeah, Jean beckons you in a little closer. Yeah. And she utters a couple of words. And his little tail wagging. Yeah. The tail's just going off. But yeah, she casts
We're
a spell.
sneaky,
You are not initially familiar with it. However, given that I'm possibly about to ask you for a stealth check, you will all get to add a +10 to it.
Oh, pass without a trace, baby.
She is in fact doing a pass without a trace. So she is going to ask you all to attempt to be a little quieter and more subtle for what comes next. As she begins to move towards a set of the stairs that moves down into the ground underneath the Fort Falling Embers.
Okay. Stealth checks, let's go.
So Jean herself got a 16, Vian got a 25.
I'm 16.
16, cool.
Oh,
Technically 35, but it's a natural 20, so...
let's go.
I don't know what the fuck this is. I'm...
Just not here anymore.
These are
Just
my
gone.
dice. I did love.
That's so good.
Stealth
This is
into a
like
different
I'm
campaign.
like slavery ring. I'm
Although-
sober and I'm doing it.
I'm waiting for it because I saw the smile on Vanda's face, so I'm just waiting for either something incredible or something incredible.
I mean, I didn't get a natural 20,
Mm.
but it is 37.
How did you get? You got more?
Yeah, he's a rogue for fucking. Come on.
I thought I was doing really well with
It's one of your
35.
it's one of your expertise ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a +9,
Yeah.
Plus 5.
Frey,
and I
how
rolled a
did you
19,
go?
so...
Yeah, that's awesome.
Damn.
Man. Shit.
It's 10, right?
Yeah, to +10. Yep.
26.
Woo, okay, so the
Was that
lowest
a
rogue we got.
disadvantage?
You're
Oh,
still
you
in
are
the armor, aren't
drunk.
you? Yeah. No,
You're
she
drunk,
made,
but you also have
she
heavy
made a
Oh,
armor.
no, that's
constitution
true.
check. It's the armor, yeah. Could change things.
Yeah, it's a 24.
Damn. Okay. So wait, it's no, but you rolled a 16 first time.
Mhm.
Yeah, so it's a 16 because disadvantage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that means the lowest rolls in the group were 16s.
Well,
That's
that.
Wow.
That's really good. Yeah, no, he disappeared into a different campaign entirely, Gun. Yeah, he stealthed his way into another universe. So yeah, Jean and Sekhet are the two least stealthy in the party, and they still passed. So it's a full group stealth check pass.
Oh, we're
Um,
owning this fort.
yeah, Jean she stands out too much. She's not a stealthy person, which is why she has spells
Which
that
is
allow
why
her
he
to
has
do
the spell,
things.
yeah.
Given that 30 is supposedly an impossible check, it's too.
Yeah,
to
but then there's a spell that gives you a +10?
plus
Come on.
10, which is nutty, yeah.
But then you
But,
guys'
yeah.
passive perceptions are also super fucking broken, so...
Exactly, yeah. It's kind of easy to break stats in this.
Took the
You
feet to
guys
do
head
that.
down these stairs, following in the footsteps of Jean and Vian. And immediately you have been taken down into what you can straight away tell is a little jail area. As the stairs sort of take two turns down into, it opens out into what looks like an L, almost like the corner of a corridor. So the corridor keeps going ahead of you, and then it also is a way to the left. Stone walls, you can sort of see a couple of the doors, and you can hear the sounds from up above, the unnamed tavern. Just, it's still there, but it's muffled by the ground and the stone. But down here, you can already hear the muttering and shuffling of people in the cells.
Can
Um,
should we be scanning for traps? Oh, I don't know. There's probably not gonna be traps.
You can if you would like, or it's up to you.
Just because I know that the town is sort of on high alert, I am gonna be scanning for like
Okay.
possible obstacles and stuff.
Yep. No worries. You do so. So make yourself a investigation check. I think it is. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
She's like, what the fuck's
14.
stats? 14? Not bad. You do note that Jean is just striding down the corridor, like not really caring a whole lot, but she is deliberately going straight ahead. She's not taking the down to the left where it sounds like there's a few more voices and noises. She comes to the end of the corridor and there is a barred door. Standard sort of jail cell
Bye,
bars.
Llama. Thanks for being here.
She immediately reaches down into the pouch that has the chess piece and pulls out a set of keys. See you, Llama. And opens up the door. A set of keys that she just happens to have on her. And the corridor across, you can now see the jail cells lining the far wall. But the corridor itself takes a sharp turn to the left and down this little cell block. And she walks down past two other cells, both of which are occupied by people in the shadows who sort of lift their heads to look at this strange procession of people wandering past, until she gets in front of one and just stops and looks inside. For any of you who care to look, you do see a male in there, and he has a very thick set build, almost like they are of like an orcish style descent. Very thick, very muscular, but their head sort of lifts up and you can sort of see almost these red curls, red curly hair that are draped around a set of horns that come down past his jawline and actually then emerge out just in front of his collarbone. He has thick bits of brown fur adorning his shoulders and upper arms, and you sort of see this red curly is also down making a beard about him. He's a very scruffy, unkempt individual, but you can also see that he has a big bandage placed across near where his heart would be. But he sort of looks up at you and you can kind of see that he has these almost purple glowing eyes. This is one of the Fell-Blooded, which, for those of you who don't know, the Fell-Blooded for me are kind of just mutated people. They're statistically they're like tieflings, but tieflings don't exist in Syleria, so they are just, I'm using the tiefling stat block for Fell-Blooded, who are just mutated people. Take all sorts of various different forms. But he immediately looks up and sees Jean standing there and just gives out a before dropping his head again. Is there anything the four of you want to do?
I'm guessing this is the person we're gonna go talk to.
This is it. I mean, Jean's deliberately stopped and is looking in, smiling.
There's not many spells I can use to like prep for a conversation with this person.
So, I mean, just in general, is there anything you guys want to do? No?
I just
Okay,
kind of
I'll
want to
take it up.
size him up and work out in my head if I'm stronger than he is.
Bree's
Mhm.
gonna try and like talk quietly so he doesn't hear to Jean being like, do we need like a zone of truth for this, or are we good?
You sort of say that, and she looks down at you with this same smile that she's giving him. And it's kind of like, maybe, but hold off on that just yet. She sort of darts her eyes back to him while looking down at you. It's like, I'm usually pretty good at getting people to talk.
Excellent.
At that, Vian gives out a little snort herself. Just hold on to that in case we need it. And second, it's kind of hard to tell if he's stronger than you. His physical size and stature would, indicate that perhaps he is, but that's not the way size and stature works anymore. So, he looks like he would be a very strong individual, but he's also clearly an injured and wounded individual. So it's very hard to tell. You're proficient in survival though, right?
Yes.
Right. In which case, I'll let you make a survival check, and then tell me what your strength is, and I'll tell you literally whether he is actually stronger than you or not. I know that's not a thing that you should be able to do, but fuck it, it's funny. I mean,
18.
Battle Masters literally have an ability called that they can do that with. So you rolled an 18? Okay, and what's your strength?
18.
Oh, okay, cool. He is as strong as you are.
In my heart, Sekit is the strongest woman in the world.
Hey.
Oh, I love you, Frey. I'm gonna
Hey.
just position myself slightly in front of everyone else, like just kind of angle myself so if he charged or anything, I could step in.
Okay. But Jean then turns back to look. No, none of the rest of you are doing anything?
Yeah? I don't know. Should we
You don't
post
have
a
to.
lookout? Jean?
Oh, I don't think we're going to be disturbed. I kind of deliberately got the others to distract, and I waited because it's been a couple days since what was going on, so most of the guards are either inebriated currently or too hungover to care.
Oh, it hurts.
This was just a good opportunity. So I'm
Okay.
taking and making an opportunity.
Let's go.
So she sort of turns towards the foul-blooded in the cell. She reaches into the pouch and she pulls out the white pawn piece. She just deliberately holds it by the nub on the top and just holds it there. Oh, got it right! Just getting into it. I can't hear it, but I'll
Holy guacamole,
No,
it's
it's a
a
long too.
Canatui raid.
get it to you.
I can't hear shit, but I just like bopping.
Yeah, just do the bop along. Hello,
Try and
Raiders!
figure out a way that you could hear it. Hello,
Oh no,
hello,
fine.
friends. Join us for some D&D.
Yep.
We're just about to accuse someone of a slavery ring, so just
we
be
had our
prepared.
shenanigans. Yeah, we had our shenanigans. Now we're back into into
You
stuff.
missed the sack.
yeah, we talked
Um,
about sex a bit. Yeah.
We're talking about a lot of talk about one particular sex. So yeah, Jean holds the chess piece by the little nub on the top, and just sort of dangles it almost next to the cell bars in front of this individual, who's not looking at him. His almost tusk-like horns, sort of, even though he's not looking, he's looking down, quite clearly protruding out. And from here, especially you, Sekit, now that you're a little closer, you can actually see that some of them seem to have almost like a stained red on them that haven't been cleaned off. And you're pretty sure, given your experience, that that's dried blood. That he just hasn't bothered to clean off his horn tusks. And Jean just sort of keeps smiling. It's like, you know what happens now, don't you? You've refused to answer any of the questions that the Rangers or the Knights have asked. So now I want you to answer mine. Because if you're truthful, I can make things a lot easier on you in here. And she begins to sort of behind her back start making some hand signs, which those of you versed in spellcasting immediately start realizing is the beginning of a spell. And there is another snort from the man in the cell. Your mind games won't work on me, witch. I'm immune to all of your silly little magics. Better than you have tried, bitch. She just keeps smiling. She stops the hand motions. And at the comment of bitch, there is Vian immediately takes a couple of steps forward. And he snorts again. It's like, oh, yes. I can't remember. It's been so long. What is it they call this routine? You come in and you use your sweet honeyed words to try and convince me to betray. And then when that fails, you send in the thug to try and break me and intimidate me, right? I've played this game and I've played it better. Jean just continues to smile. That's fine. I mean, I wasn't going to try and break you, but you'll find that I can break your mind as well as Vian breaks your body. We will leave you a destroyed mess. But we don't have to. You just have to let me know, and she dangles the chess piece back and forth, who gave you this? Who attacked the wagon? Who engineered the attacks against the homesteads and the farms? Because you're not smart enough to be the one behind it. Somebody's funding you. Your men had military training. And speaking of thugs, that's all any of you really were. And he just continues to look at her, and he snorts louder. It's like, I'm not telling you anything. Oh well, I tried. You know, because you're responsible then, that you are going to die. And it's going to be public, and it's going to be humiliating. Right? In front of all of those who have already turned, who have decided to repent for a better life. And they're all going to point, and they're going to laugh, and they're going to delight in your downfall. And she looks at Vian and kind of nods. And Vian just sort of lifts her hand and begins to squeeze it. And you actually hear the cell, the bars on the cell begin to rattle. As sort of, you know, you can actually feel the energy in the air as kind of that static electricity tingle begins. As she does her little metal thing that she did in the alleyway. And the cell bars begin to kind of shudder and begin to pull towards her, and he sort of sits back and looks like, what if I'm going to die tomorrow? I take it you're going to try and what? Intimidate me further? You can't intimidate me like that. It's not how it works. Vian just, no, I'm not going to intimidate you. I'm just going to break your knees because I really just want to break your knees. And I'm not going to be particularly subtle like she is. And Jean just kind of sees the bench sort of over the other side of the cell, sort of pats it down and crosses her leg and dusts off her dress. It's kind of like, and I will be sitting here and waiting while she does things to you that you've never experienced. And as soon as you're willing to talk, I'll be willing to listen. And that rattling grows and grows until the lock on the cell just compresses and the door pulls outwards. And Vian sort of immediately just with her shoulders and begins to walk into the cell door. And he laughs.
I stand between the open cell door and everyone else while Vian goes in.
Yeah. And he laughs. And he stands. And he is a very tall individual. He may be as strong as Seket, but he is a very tall, very muscular individual. And he laughs. Hello. Thanks for that. It's been fun, but I think me and the lads are going to take our leave now. Because the only problem we were having was getting me out.
Oh no.
And
Oh no.
immediately you hear the sound of several of the other cells, doors, which were already unlocked, swing open.
I didn't roll high
I hate
enough to see.
And several bandits, or former bandits, all step out.
No!
Several of them with makeshift weapons, others without, on either side of the corridor. And Vian doesn't flinch and continues to move towards him. Jean, however, does kind of sit back alarmed and look. It's like, oh, that's unexpected. And immediately stands up. And next time, we're going to start by rolling for initiative.
Oh, love that.
Because
Shit.
we've hit our time, and there's no way we're starting the combat now.
Wow. You really hit that time too. You made sure you got it in. You
I saw the time, and I actually cut some things short out of what I was going to do to make sure I got to that point. There was going to be a slightly different conversation happen there, but it's like, no, I can cut all of that out. It doesn't matter. It's all fluff.
Oh, but I like fluff.
I think we all like fluff, but time sometimes doesn't. So,
I love
but,
how we've
yeah.
been here for probably like a few hours and we're already...
We're already gonna fuck shit up. What was our name again, everyone?
Casual Chaos Club.
Casual
it also
Chaos
just-
Club.
Brings up a whole lot of questions, though. So,
Oh,
you know.
the fact that
Going
his
on?
men had military training.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's done this before as well.
The fact
They're
that
not
the
dumb
slaves was trapped.
thugs.
Yeah, they're not dumb thugs.
They're not dumb
No.
thugs. It's really
Well, technically...
And I
they
have been
are-
laying the seeds for you guys to start finding out more about the banditry from your very first session, way back when. There were comments about it even back then that there was some very unusual bandit behavior right from the start. And hello and welcome to part of that.
I
Ah.
thought that was more about the tribe that was doing banditry and moving more kind of. Are they tied into the slavery ring too? Q!
Does that mean that we get to murder some people?
If they are, you know that I can't say. And just because if they are, I can't say, it means if they're not, I also can't say.
Blink twice for yes.
Man, the word shatter is going to be mentioned so much next.
Yeah, shut up! Shut up! Maybe a bit of
But yeah.
sunset.
Welcome to the realms. Welcome to Fort of Falling Embers and a number of very interesting NPCs.
We get to fight with
it's-
Vian again. I'm
Yep.
so happy.
I
Yep.
was so ready for Jean to do a fireball into the fucking cell.
Oh, I can do that.
You can.
Where
I
he
mean,
How much
knew.
space is behind us?
How many what?
How much space is behind us?
Give me a sec.
Yeah.
Let me just, because I actually had the map open just in case it was going to happen.
Oh, can we at least look at that, Chief?
Hey, no,
Can
Fred.
if you want. Give me a sec to.
You
Place.
can have a sec while I figure out who we're raiding.
How fast can water breathing be cast?
I think that one actually takes time.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, it's an
I'm-
out of
I'm-
combat spell.
Yeah, that's one of those spells that you do not cast in combat. Okay, I'll actually just have to link it through Albert Radio because that's just going to have to be if you want to take a look at it.
This is either going to go really well, or
I'm
Awful.
also, because I'm going to keep something for the start of next time, I've removed everybody off, all the enemies off the map except for the guy in the cell. Just so you can't see. How many
Yes,
are there?
please,
and who's
Gummy.
there?
Oh, I'll be
Okay.
right. I'll be right.
Yep. excitingly, they now have in open beta an Owlbear Rodeo 2.0. So
I love
I'm,
them.
I'm excited to check out and see what that's got.
I love the
That's a
photo of Jean.
Yeah. It's actually an entire picture, and it's somebody's taken a character. Because I'm not gonna lie, it's somewhat based off Suikoden and Jean.
Oh.
Ah!
Somebody has actually done an entire artwork of her, basically a scholar from Final
Yeah.
Fantasy 14.
Oh.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'll show you. I'll show you the whole picture later.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Oh boy.
yeah. This is the underground jail cell at Fort Falling Embers, and yeah, I've removed all of the enemies except for that guy off the map, just so that's a surprise for next time.
What?
You guys will be able to place yourself wherever you want. I roughly got where Vian, Seket, and Jean would be. The other three, I think it's up to you. But that will be a thing for next time.
I'm gonna fix something.
Yeah.
Missed, you're poking out a little bit. How dare you?
Oh, I like doing that. Wait, what?
I don't know, I'm resizing stuff. Okay. Oh, we're gonna. Okay, yeah. We can do Captain Lando.
Oh yeah, Captain Lando. Nice.
Thank you everyone for being here, though. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for next week.
Yep. And you have met
Not
now.
next week. 2 weeks away.
Well, you have kind of met a semi-important early character canon in my world. And spoiler, it's none of the people at that table you guys were with.
Damn.
None of them, because pretty much all of them were designed for the campaign.
It'd be so funny if it was the young Minotaur.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely the Minotaur out the
Davis.
front.
100%.
Davis the Minotaur, yeah.
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 I was so scared when you mentioned Minotaur. My mind went to the Fennec Adventures. I was like, oh no, it's a Minotaur.
You guys have also met in this small time coming into the Summer Realms.
I'm breaking things.
More races outside human, half elf, elf, and dwarf than you have probably than the entirety of the rest of the campaign.
Oopsie.
And there is a reason for that. The Summer Realms is very, very, very diverse.
Okay. I was trying to
Oh,
click.
can't wait for a fortnight. This is going to be fun.
Oh.
I mean, it
It's gonna
doesn't
be so good.
have to be a fortnight, but it probably should be. So we don't really want to mess up our schedule.
No, 2 weeks. 2 weeks, everyone.
Yeah.
But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here for a casual Chaos Club adventure. Remember sunset, and also
Shut up!
Shut up! Okay, rating. Bye.